Showtime in 60 seconds. "45 seconds. "30 seconds. The show will start in 15 seconds, and this is your last audible warning.
Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Elon replied. He goes,
misinformation.
No, he goes, I don't think that they were wrong.
Oh, that's great. So you perfect. That means that, literally with the richest man in the world might be right here.
Yeah.
That's a real big boost for the people.
Of course it is.
Saying, listen, call me all you want, but the smartest man in the world is diagnosed as such. All of a sudden, now it's cool to be. I knew our ship would finally come in.
Finally.
Wow.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Broadcast rights for the Bubba the Love Sponge show have been granted to this station by the Bubba Radio Network and is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this production without the express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
As I was, by the way, the Bubba the Love Sponge show, hosted by me, Bubba the Love Sponge. Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. Lummy, Dr. Dan, Seth, Rhett, and Macho Man. All here. Later on, about 8:30, High Karate will roll up in here. Jediaco to relieve Dan of his duties at 9. Be a 30-minute crossover of Diaconus, and then Dan will go and start his day of being a doctor, a lawyer, a dad, a superhero, whatever the hell you want him to be. So I was listening to the best, to our bump in, to our previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show, and I used the word that I didn't think needed to be edited if it was used by the father of the person that was describing their son and how their son was diagnosed as a child. I didn't think. So is that word in itself just such a bad word and such a cancelable? You can't even say the word?
Yeah.
For real.
It's people are so sensitive to it.
It's
ridiculous.
It's making a comeback to where it's
not. I thought it's making a comeback to where it's not such taboo.
But it's not there yet.
It's not there yet, but people can say it without being canceled.
No, you can't, because mine got
Well, I mean, who did that?
Probably Rat.
No, Macho, we talked about it. Me and Macho talked about it.
And now, hold on. I don't want anybody that made the decision to do it to think that I'm mad, because I'm not.
Well, we both.
Hold on. But I don't want anybody to think that I don't think, if you guys think that we needed to do it, then I'm not sitting here bitching that you did it. You guys know the forums that we're on and how sensitive they are. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm sitting here bitching about the fact that you took the safe route.
David Ashworth became a member. We were both contemplating it overnight, and we thought it might be just better to play it safe on this one.
Yeah.
Not let certain things
so
happen.
So Dan, as a doctor, if a child was diagnosed as that, can you no longer, as a doctor, say, like, would it be a pediatrician or like what level, like what type of doctor would make that diagnosis?
Maybe a pediatrician, also maybe a psychiatrist, a pediatric social worker could do it. I mean, there's a lot of entities that would test or identify that.
Right. So could like maybe a principal. Or
I would never get that far.
Meaning it wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't get that far.
It would be diagnosed far sooner. Well, okay. So when the type of doctors that you mentioned just a moment ago would make a determination that a kid would be that, can they not say that word?
I bet you it's on their chart.
Right. I mean,
it's weird. So you can say it in medicine amongst other doctors, but you can't say it in public, which is stupid.
Right. So you can say it. You could be like, if this one doctor, this child psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever, was talking to the parents or was talking to a colleague, and they have the little kid's chart there, and they're like, hey, listen, little Johnny seems to be,
he's not meeting. What they'll say is he's not meeting his milestones.
Right. For development. We feel that developmentally he's bam, bam, bam. Now, I'm substituting the word bam, bam, bam for the rizzy, tizid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, let me actually, we have a screen name.
Yes, we do.
Retarded.
That's right.
I'm sorry. WE. Todded. We Todded.
That's right.
My real name used to be Todd.
It's a verb.
And thank you, Red. It's a verb.
It's a verb. We got together and we all todded.
Right. So instead of telling that the kid might be we Todded, which is a scream name that we have here, lovely. I think they're on YouTube.
Yes, they are.
You cannot. You could say that amongst the doctors. You could say that maybe even to the family, but you could not say it. If you're two kids, you couldn't say, hey, little Johnny is we totted. And we can't even subsequently. So when Elon Musk's father, Elon Musk, arguably one of the most popular people in the world.
And most powerful and most wealthy.
Right. So when his father, Elon Musk, one of the most popular, wealthy, successful, smart people in the world, was diagnosed as being bam, bam, bam as a child, and that story is told by his father, which is not hearsay or, another student that went to school with him and supposedly Elon was, bam, bam, bam. No, this is his father that's making this claim. And we, as a society, cannot emulate or talk about or use we can't even use the same word that his father used in describing his son. That's how sensitive and pussified we've become. I mean, right? Like, It's just ridiculous. It's just a word. It means to slow down. For instance, like, when we were setting the timing on our sprint cars, you loosen the distributor cap and you twist it one way or the other to advance or to retard the ignition, which means to slow down. Slay, hey, Gene, retard it by 6 degrees. Okay, how about it? Turn it to Rusty, turn it to the left a little bit. See if we can get this thing retarded. It's 6 degrees. It's like, and where did, who made this word so bad? It's just, it's a word that has a meaning.
I mean, is it the same people that came up with Latinx? I mean, there seems to be like a subculture that wants to monitor how we speak and how we interact.
And make a big deal about it.
And make a huge deal.
And make a big deal about it. Hello, you're on the air.
Good morning, Bubba. It's Super Bubba Light.
Man, Super Fat Bubba Light, it sounds like maybe you fell out of your truck and got ran over by it. And you're on the side of the road needing help. Are you okay?
I've been sick since Christmas. So
yeah, I heard that. You don't sound good at all, buddy.
Don't.
I got this cold virus that lasts for like 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
That's what I got for a Christmas gift.
Great. Sorry. What can we do you for, Super Fat Bubba Light?
Oh, I was just calling because I canceled my hotel room, so I don't know if anybody still needed a room. The Hyatt, where you put the host hotel, my room might be available.
No, the Hyatt is not the host hotel. The Hyatt is not the host hotel.
Okay.
And everybody was like, wanting to be at the Hyatt, and I'm like, that's not the host hotel. The Hyatt is not the host hotel. The Hyatt wasn't working with us. I guarantee you paid $199 for that room. I promise you.
Oh no! I used the link that Lummy gave me for your deal.
So you're not at the Hyatt.
Yeah,
you're somewhere else. Super Fat Bubble Light. You're not at the Hyatt. If you're at the host hotel on the link that Lummy gave you, then you're not at the Hyatt. You are indeed at the host hotel, and so that means they'll probably have you called them and canceled yet?
I canceled yesterday afternoon, so my room.
Yeah, if somebody would call, get a hold of us, we'll give you a link to the host hotel. It looks like they may, because they were sold out on the blocks of rooms, but there might be one back in the available hopper. So for anybody who feels as if they are at the wrong hotel or haven't made the reservations yet, or for whatever reason needs a room at the host hotel. It sounds like there might be one available. Get a hold of Lummy, and Lummy will send you the link to the host hotel.
Oh, that's no problem. I figured I didn't want to go down there and get anybody else sick.
Yeah, no, I would. We actually appreciate you staying home because I don't want anybody sounding like you at the super spreader party. No.
No problem.
All right, buddy. Get better, my friend. Now, are you seeing a doctor? Are you seeing a doctor? They diagnose. Are you on any medication?
Oh no, I'm just roughing it out.
I mean, Dr. Dan, who's a doctor, is saying, man, you go to your general physician, he diagnoses you and gets you on a Z-Pack or something, antiviral or antibacterial or something like, right, Dan? I mean, like, roughing it out ain't going to work.
Never works.
I mean, it'll work eventually, but I mean, you could 2x your recovery by going to see a doctor.
All right, but I don't really have a regular doctor I go to.
Go to one of those.
Go to urgent care, dude. Get checked because you should be on something. You're sick and you can be better. You don't want to fester.
I mean, you're sick now. Here it is on Tuesday. If you'd roll into one of those convenience clinics and get on an antibiotic or whatever the doctor determined you needed to get on, you could be better by the weekend. I mean, a lot of those things are you start feeling better in a day or two, right? 72 hours. Hell, 72 hours, you could almost have the damn thing whipped.
All right, well, thanks.
This guy sounds horrible.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, Super Fat Bubba Light, good talking to you. Thanks.
Get help.
So it
Get
looks
help.
like
813-90-Bubba if you'd like to call in. And
that's not to get help, though. That's
not to get help. Now, what's that on me?
It looks like in 2010, President Obama signed Rose's Law, which changed mental to intellectual disability in U.S. federal law.
So we can blame this on Barack Obama.
So it's federal language.
The R word, also known as the R slur, is a hurtful term that remains prevalent through social media, including, according to Kantar, social listening study. The research shows that when social media users are posting about people with an intellectual disability, 7 in every 10 of those posts are negative, and 6 in 10 contain a slur. Well, have you ever been to any of the forums that talk about us? It's 10 for 10. And they don't call us the R word. They call us everything. I would love for all the haters on me. The only problem that they thought is that I was, slow.
Yeah.
I mean, please. I mean, God, are the trolls of our show are ruthless. The R word is a form of hate speech that stands for, and I guess since it's an article, I could probably read this, correct? Because it's a news article speaking about this term, and it's actually using the term. In some incidents, it calls it the R word, but in this instance, it actually says the word.
Yes.
So I think I could probably be okay to read it. The R word is a form of hate speech, and it stands for retard or retarded or other offensive ending in tard. While mental retardation was originally introduced as a medical term in 1961 for people with, I mean, you can't even say, listen, you stupid tizard.
Nope. Oh, you'd be in big trouble.
Although it was originally introduced as a medical term in 1961 for people with intellectual disabilities, in the decades since, the R word has become an insult used in all too commonly in everyday speech or language. Those who use the R word often do so with little regard for the pain that it causes people with intellectual disabilities. Well, I have intellectual disabilities, and people call me fat and R and everything like that. And I mean, you just got to deal with it. No, nobody's perfect. Every one of us has a flaw. I mean, like even Dan, a doctor, a lawyer, just an overall stud.
Doesn't mean we need to be slurred for our flaws.
Yeah, but Dan's been called, Iraqi Danny, Pakistani Danny. I mean, Dan, all the words that they used to call you, right? Mm-hmm. And it was because
Taladan.
What's that?
Taladan. The Iraqi surfer.
And you know why, Dan?
Osama bin Laden.
And you know why? Because they were, at the end of the day, insecure or jealous of your ability, your looks, or your education level. So they couldn't, call you Stud Dan or Getting All the Ass Dan or Huge Penis Dan or, Rich Dan. They had to. They just can't ever give you the proper credit that you need.
No,
you're never going to see a Bubba forum in any way, shape, or form that says, you know what, Bubba really is if you really think about it, Bubba has achieved a lot in radio. He's doing pretty damn good. He lost it all in 2017. He's now built it back up where he can pay for all of his bills and support a staff of 7, and he's pretty, the show's pretty good. No, you can't ever say that.
No.
We suck. Oh, we talk about this and that. But meanwhile, you hate the show, but you listen to every word of the show. That's what I don't understand. I hate soccer. I don't watch soccer. Soccer sucks. Meanwhile, I've recently become a fan of F1. And so I find myself gravitating to that on Sundays to watch the replay or, go to Sky, and they have some great F1 coverage.
Yeah, they do.
But I don't find myself going to things I don't like, then seeking out the forum of that and really causing all kinds of issues, sending out postcards and just doing all kinds of things. And the exclusion it perpetrates in our society. 2010, Barack Obama signed Rose's Law, which changed mental retardation to intellectual disability. In U.S. federal law, inspired by a 9-year-old Rosa Marciello. The law was a key milestone to promoting inclusive people-first language. As the world emerges in an intense conversation about the importance of inclusion, Special Olympics and Best Buddies urge everyone to play an active role in promoting acceptance by ending the use of the R word, which continues to push people with intellectual disabilities to the sidelines.
But I can't.
Bitch, I've been pushed to the sidelines all my life.
But I thought you can't say a disability either now.
What do you mean?
You can't call someone disabled.
You can't?
No, that's another thing.
Yeah, that's new. I guess right above.
What do you mean that's new?
Well, yeah,
I can't say.
Newer.
I can't say you're mentally disabled.
No, you can't say you're intellectually disabled anymore. That's also been described as hateful.
In baseball, they don't have the disabled list; they have the injury list, right? Lummy?
Yes,
It's the
they got rid of the disabled
It's the
list.
IL now.
Yep.
The R word is a form of bullying. Kantar reviewed nearly 50 million social media posts in the U.S. over 2 years. Over 2/3 of the posts about people with intellectual disabilities were negative, and nearly 29 million contained slurs, i.e. using the word retard or other words combined with tard. spreading the R word continues to hurt people with intellectual disabilities, and by the way, I'm not using the word in a hateful type context direct to anybody. I'm simply reading an article written about the word. Okay? Just want everybody to know that. And with people with intellectual disabilities, and whether intended or not, is a form of bullying. Man, we are really getting soft as a world.
There's a little video above that article. Like if you go, that kind of it.
Okay,
this is the Special Olympics website. I mean, it's
going to be a little biased, one-sided.
We used to be called retarded.
You didn't say it.
In Africa, they think.
I'm not saying it. I'm simply I'm actually playing a video on the Special Olympics website. So, like, I don't think I can be more further insulated than this. And the fact that I'm trying to promote something that the Special Olympics has on their website to, at the end of the day, promote the Special Olympics and how special it is and how we all should take it seriously. And Lummy, I wonder if I could enter in the Special Olympics as maybe as a shot putter or something.
Yes.
Because I'm not all buttoned up mentally.
I mean, you'd have to be senior Special Olympics at this point.
Thanks.
That's it's just the facts.
You could dominate there.
We are crazy.
Senior.
I don't know what to tell you, man. It's 50.
You're right, buddy. I mean, it hurts. You know what? Truth hurts.
I mean, you're not going to be able to shot put against a bunch of kids. I mean, you're going to have to go against, guys like you.
I understand, and point well taken. And it hurts. It hurts both ways. It hurts that I'm in the Special Olympics, and it hurts that not only am I in the Special Olympics, but I'm in the old guy Special Olympics.
You have a chance to win. I mean,
I know, I'm just saying, it hurts that I can't even beat an able-bodied, that I have to go with old guys.
Well, do you think you're closer to the real Olympics or the Special Olympics?
No, I think I'm closer to the Couch Olympics.
The Couch Olympics.
When I was young, I was isolated, rejected, neglected at all cost. I thought I was nothing.
The girls bullied me. They call me ugly and stupid.
The girls bully me. They call me ugly and stupid. My dad called me that. I mean, what's going on here?
They say the hour to me. It hurts me a lot.
In the 1950s, the medical community began to use the word retarded. Again, this is from the Special Olympics main website. Spreading awareness. It wasn't long before it became a widely used colloquialism for stupid or incompetent.
That's pretty good.
Something both Lummy and I have heard a lot of. But our fathers never framed it as a colloquialism. They just said, hey, dumbass, get your ass over here. Did I tell you to do that? And then your dad gave you some task to do, and you didn't do it correctly.
Do you feel like it benefited you guys, though, to hear those things?
It didn't hurt us. We just knew that our dad was mad at us right now, and he was calling us, stupid.
That's right.
I didn't lay in bed all night and go, oh my God, my dad called me stupid.
I think if you
I laid in bed all night being like, oh, I hope I can do it better next time.
I really think if you let a therapist, if you really opened up your heart to a therapist, I think they could really break down a lot of your troubles. And I think those would be in there.
No, I think they would be like, that's tough love, man, when your dad would say, God damn, you're stupid.
Yeah, it was a different.
I mean, my dad, my dad one time told me to mow the lawn, okay? But watch out, there was this one little area in the lawn that was a low spot, and it retained water, and you could only mow it when it was bone dry. And if you tried to mow with the Ryder lawnmower down by the wet spot, and once the mower got in the wet spot, you could not get it out, and you would just rip the lawn up trying to get it out. Because my dad obviously had done it 3 or 4 times before. So in my big dad, I want to be a big boy and mow the lawn with the Cub Cadet 1976 Ryder lawnmower. My dad was very, very, very particular in saying, okay, now, before you go and mow the lawn, you are to go and walk the entire lawn and pick up any paper or any rocks or anything that, the lawnmower could hit, which I didn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Exactly.
No one
Which
does.
means you ran over cups and you ran over pieces of paper, which then got shredded in rocks, which then hit, the siding of the house.
But I broke a window.
Right. So you didn't do that.
Nope.
And then my dad said, if you're going to be a big boy, you're going to drive the big boy lawnmower, then you got to go down to the wet spot. And if you can walk through the wet spot and you're not slip and slide, then chances are the mower will go through it and you're okay. But if it's greasy or it's really kind of slick down there, then stay off of that area and you're going to have to use the push mower for that area. Okay, I got it. No problem. So, of course, I don't pre-walk the lawn, and there's cups and, Lummy rocks and other things, and I hit a cup or two, and, when you hit a cup or two, like a styrofoam cup or something,
they explode.
It gets scattered into the lawn as if it was like paper machete, and now you can't pick it up. There's too many pieces to pick up.
You got to run it over another 5 times.
Yeah, you got to run it over 6 more times, and then now the lines in the lawn that your dad likes is now there's no more lines because you had to run over the cup 10 times in order to get it to ground into the lawn. So. Then Lummy, when you go down by the wet spot and you're thinking, you know what, I don't want to get the push mower out and have to mow this area too. I bet you if I get enough speed going, I can get through that wet area. Well, you didn't. You got your lawnmower stuck. And at that point, you would have to try to go frontwards, backwards, frontwards, back, tearing up the lawn. Looking like a sprint car just went through your lawn, and then you go and put the lawnmower away, but you're not mindful enough to go and hose the mud off the tires or the lawn deck or anything like that. You just put it away dirty inside of your dad's clean garage. Don't think that your dad doesn't pull your ass out there and say, "Are you so fucking stupid that you did not listen to anything I told you to do?
Nothing.
You are that fucking stupid? Are you Are you an effing Sorry, Dad. Get the mower out, hose it down, clean, because I'm not going to have all that mud in my shop. And go get the push mower and get the wet spot. And guess what, buddy? Next time you mow the lawn, you're mowing it with the complete push mower. There is no you don't get a ride the riding lawnmower. You get to next time to mow lawn with the push mower. Which, Lummy, it was a difference between being 15, 20 minutes to being 3 hours.
Oh, my dad refused to buy a riding lawnmower.
Well, my dad, when he bought it, he was like, listen, if you use it right, you can use it. But if not, you're going to run the push mower.
We had to do the push mower.
Well, I had to push mow more. I got to push mow more than I rode on the riding lawnmower because I didn't go and, 1, pre-walk the lawn, 2, check the wet spot, and 3, clean the lawnmower. Because think about it, I mean, as you get there and you see your boys out there riding bikes and playing, and you had maybe 10 more minutes of mowing.
It's a Saturday morning.
Yeah, so you're out there mowing. And your dad's gone to work or wherever the hell, and you're like, and so instead of telling the guys, hey, give me 20 minutes because I got 10 more minutes of lawn mowing, and then I got to spray off the mower for 10 minutes. So, no way, you wanted to be out there right now.
That's right.
So you instead of being in 3rd gear, you put it in 5th gear, which caused it not to mow as efficiently, and you'd leave long stragglers.
Yep.
And then your dad would kick your ass for that too.
Yankee Jam, $10.
I didn't lay in bed at night. And it really bugged me, or I was going to turn into an axe murderer or anything like that. I was just like, man, I know next time I have to mow the lawn, I know I got to push it now.
Yep.
That sucks. So then you'd push it twice, and your dad would give you another chance. I remember one time, I nailed it. I absolutely nailed it. I pre-walked the lawn. And here's the thing: did any of us ever do what our dads told us and we actually did it and it turned out the way that your dad said it was going to happen, and you said to yourself, wow, if I should just listen to my dad more often? Because he knows, as much as we think it's bitching at us and being mean to us, the old timer knows. So one time, Lummy, my dad said, okay, I was scheduled to push because I'd effed up, two mowers prior. So my dad goes, you can do the rider. Plus the grass was a little long, and it was tough pushing when it was long.
Was there any power to the handheld?
No, hell no. No,
it was pure push.
Pure push. No power.
No, my dad gifted me one time with one of those automatic blade ones.
Oh no, mine
helped a little bit.
Mine was straight mower deck with 4 wheels that did not have any propulsion system at all.
Oof.
You have big wheels?
No, just little teeny tiny ones, and you adjusted the deck with the little levers. So my dad said, "Okay, you can ride today, but you got to do your pre-walk." So I pre-walked it. Lummy picked up like 5 or 6 cups. And I went down there and realized that it was too slick, so I stayed a lane off of it. And then I went down and hand mowed it. And then I went and took the mower to the back area, hosed it all off, got underneath it, took a scraper and scraped the deck, put it all away. And then my dad comes home and he's like, the lawn looks good. Did you I think for the first time, you idiot, you finally did it. You did it right.
You still got insulted?
Oh yeah. He's like, see, when you listen to your dad. See what happens?
That's
you
right.
do it the right way. And I'm proud of you, and it looks good. Take pride in your work. Stop half-assing stuff. I know you see the boys out playing and stuff, but you got a job to do, my friend. And if you do it right, then you don't have to do it again. Your dad would give you all these cliches and stuff. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it again.
Right.
I'm sure you got those same discussions, Dan.
Yeah, I listened to my dad and I turned into a doctor. So, I mean,
yeah,
you should
I listened to my dad and I flunked out of college. I mean, you have to say it. In 2009, one family, we can blame this on one family.
Oh, boy.
In 2009, one family set out on a mission to abolish the R word. Man, we need to hire this family to promote our career.
Jeez.
They're pretty efficient.
So one family changed the word for the entire world.
One family changed the world.
Your buddy Calta had to have a payout over this.
Probably.
Well, no, he had the R word news.
Oh, that's right.
And a family went after him.
I don't know this to be true.
It's true.
But I heard it was 600. I heard it was like 600 grand.
Yeah, I heard it was a lot. They had to get rid of the. They got rid of the bit.
Yeah, I heard it was 600 grand.
No bit's worth that.
I know, but that's what they paid for it to go away. God, they've paid a lot of settlements for that guy. They paid the Hogan settlement. They paid the R-word settlement. I mean, Jesus.
Hope they're making up in advertisers.
Hey, man, that's what you do. You back the Deshaun Watson of your franchise.
For children, Rosa's the youngest. When Rosa started in public school, she had an IEP, an individualized education plan, and all students are...
Maryland statewide individual education plan, an IEP progress guide.
Coded with a disability code. So when she started, I'd asked the principal to not put the mental retardation code on her IEP because we found it offensive, and I tried to explain the power of the word, and for us, it was like the N-word.
But it's not. The person's just slowed down, and slowed down is what that word represents. Should they put slow?
Can't say slow.
You can't?
Nope.
Can't say slow.
I don't think you can say intellectual disability anymore.
I don't think you can say anything.
It's called someone disabled anymore. You have to call them what they called now. What's the right word? It's like
I don't know. Not quite there. Not maybe half off.
Half off. What is it, sale? BOGO?
50% less? Stupid. Hello?
Face an $18 million lawsuit,
was it
by the way.
ableism?
Ableism?
Ableist.
What was it? What was an $18 million lawsuit?
I'm sorry. It was back in the day. Cowhead had the segment called R Word News, and they made fun of they took an image off the internet of a 17-year-old who had Down syndrome
In 2012, I think it looks like.
Yeah, and the family found out, and they I guess they went after them for $18 million. So I don't know what they ended up settling for, but
$18 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a thing called R News, and they took the likeness of this kid who was,
Back when you just stole
intellectually
pictures, yeah.
And they would they used that kid and they photoshopped a sign of him saying "Our News," and that was the segment that they would put that up on their website, and so that would be that was the the brand or the image that they used for that bit, and that family found out that they were using their slow child as a radio bit, and they sued him. They sued Cox for $18 million. I don't know what they settled for, but $18 million. Yeah, Dan, I got to think if you're asking for 18, you got more than $600,000. I'm thinking.
Oh yeah.
It'd be interesting. Probably more like $4 or $5 million.
Probably.
Hello.
At least 3.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Bubba.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, FTE out of Philly, man. My Kenworth has a switch on the dashboard called an engine retarder.
Yeah,
so I don't better known Kenworth over that.
Better known as a Jake brake.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and there's no such thing as hate speech.
So I mean,
Jake's not petitioning Congress to change the language.
Yeah, but you're saying that Kenworth on the dashboard, it's called engine retarder on the dashboard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on the switch.
Well,
engine retarder.
If a disabled guy was a trucker and he looked down at that switch and it made him sad, he could probably, hire a Diaco or so and get a big ass settlement.
Oh, jeez.
It's unbelievable.
Appreciate your call, buddy. Yeah, better known as a Jake brake.
So I thought there must be something that we could do.
Today, I rise to introduce legislation that I'm calling Rose's Law. It began by listening to the people in my...
All right, I've heard enough. We know that you can't say the word. And whatever. The next report, I can assure you, I spoke with Dion last Wednesday. He was in Orlando. And I was trying to make it, Lummy, that I could go over there and see him.
Yeah.
He was on a recruiting trip and had some other business as well. And I was trying to make it over there one night to see if I could maybe do a dinner with him, but I just couldn't make it over because I had to go from right after the show on Friday right up to the track because we had races. I got so much preparation to do for the track, and I just couldn't make it. But this topic did come up, and I said to him, Dion, your name's popping up everywhere. Are you going anywhere? And he said, I love Colorado so much. I love the city of Boulder. I love what we were doing there. At that time, he told me he just got a guard from Ohio State.
Nice.
That was that I think was a starter, a 2-year starter. And maybe is sitting out the playoff because I think as soon as you go to the transfer portal, you can't play with your team anymore.
Oh no, you're gone.
So he at that point, so maybe somebody can look it up. I didn't look it up, but Dion told me that they had just gotten a starting offensive lineman from Ohio State in the portal. So that's the information he told me. He said he wasn't. I even said the Raiders and Cowboys, and he's like, no. One of the things I would need to do, if I was to go coach professional football, I need Shador and Shiloh on my team. I want to coach my sons. Well, that's virtually impossible. I mean, there's only going to be. I don't know that the Cowboys are in the sweepstakes for Shador. I mean,
if they trade up, they can.
Yeah, but what does that do to Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott gets traded for that first-round pick.
Dak Prescott. I mean, that's like trading an old ham sandwich.
Yeah, I mean,
he's useless.
I mean,
do you have any? Is there any value to him? Come on, dude.
I mean, there's a ton of value in him. I don't know. I don't know
like
that
Russell Wilson value,
but I don't know that Dallas has thrown him away yet. Right? Like, I don't know that's not a thing, is that Dak Prescott is going to be released from the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's a moldy piece of bread.
But there's talks of course, Sam Darnold no longer is as sexy as he was, 3 days ago.
Which is stupid.
Well, because of last night's, performance. They're saying Kirk Cousins is going to end up somewhere. They're saying Aaron Rodgers might be a Titan. I saw an article yesterday that Devontae Adams said that he wouldn't mind playing for Green Bay again. I also saw an article from Josh Jacobs. Is that his name? The running back for the Packers?
Yes.
That he is good friends with who's the edge rusher from the Raiders? Mason Crosby?
Max Crosby. That he's good friends with him, and he's going to try to get him to come to Green Bay. Much like in a Reggie White type scenario. Green Bay was never a Super Bowl contender until they finally got aggressive in free agency. And Ron Wolf or Ted Thompson, I think it was Ted Thompson, lured Reggie White away from the Eagles. And nobody thought that the sleepy-ass little town of Green Bay would be able to attract. And I think at that time, Reggie was the most coveted unrestricted free agent at the time. And they thought that, a really, really, really sexy team would get Reggie, and Reggie went to Green Bay.
The Packers aren't getting Max Crosby. Unless they want to give up 2 first-round picks. They don't really seem like the team that trades first-round picks that often.
They don't.
And by the way, Dak Prescott is set to make $40 million this year and has an $89 million cap hit. So there's exactly 0 teams that would want to take that on.
Right.
0.
So, in my article, sources, Cowboy owners, Jerry Jones has spoken with Colorado head coach Deion Sanders about the team's head coaching vacancy, and discussions are expected to continue regarding the possibility of him becoming the next coach in Dallas. Here's the problem. Jerry Jones couldn't have a coach like Deion. Jerry Jones is a star, and he loves the fact of his star power. Deion Sanders would outshine Jerry. No coach they've ever brought in outshined Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the star of the Dallas Cowboys.
Imagine all the press that would go around Dallas and all the publicity, and if he was able to turn it around with Deion.
You don't think he'd parlay that and just kind of side by side with Deion the whole time and enjoy the coach?
I don't think that they can both exist in the same ecosystem of a football team.
They had Troy Aikman on Monday Night Countdown last night ahead of the game, and he kind of ripped on Jerry Jones and said that job isn't necessarily a coveted job in the NFL because of Jerry Jones.
Right, Jones.
That's Troy Aikman.
That's Troy Aikman, the guy that spent 12 years there. A guy that won, was it 2 Super Bowls he won?
Oh, they won, 3? I
think. Three
Super
Super Bowls.
3 Super Bowls with, and he was, one of the very, there's a lot, but he started and ended his career with the same franchise, the number 1 overall pick in the 89 draft, the very, very most, the most regarded, the best, was it the 89 draft? I think it was. Where it had Deion, Barry Sanders, Tony Mandrich, was it Derek Thomas, the kid from Kansas City?
Yep.
So it went number 1, Aikman, number 2, Mandrich, number 3, I think, Barry, number 4, the kid from Kansas City, and I think Deion went 5.
No, Barry went 2, Mandrich went 3, I believe, for what it was.
Okay, Barry went 2, Mandrich went 3. And then it was either Deion and Thomas or vice versa.
And it looks like Ohio State kid George Fitzpatrick started 8 games. He's put himself in the transfer portal, but there's no announcement that he picked Colorado. So you might have.
I may have gotten a scoop on that.
Yeah.
There you go,
because he's from Colorado.
Well, I'm just telling you, Deion told me. Maybe I shouldn't have.
We're finally going to go viral, breaking the news.
George Fitzpatrick, the redshirt sophomore, offensive tackle.
Going to Colorado.
Gary Cantrell making a short.
That's what Deion told me. His exact words were, I got a stud out of Ohio State offensive lineman.
And he didn't say?
That's all he said.
Okay.
That's all he said.
That's all he's saying.
So he did tell me he's not going to coach for the Raiders, and he's not going to coach for the Cowboys.
He's not?
Not.
Okay.
He's not. That's not going to happen. And just like Rhett said.
And why not the Raiders? I mean, you made a good point of not the Cowboys, but why not the Raiders?
He does not
He's not really that enamored with the pro football.
Oh, okay. Just in general, he doesn't want to jump.
His style of coaching doesn't jive with men that are making, $30 million. His style of coaching comes from young, aggressive guys that might
$5 million.
That might have an NIL, but also gets an education, and you can really, really coach them up. You can coach them up. You can't coach up. I don't think you can coach up a pro. I don't think you can. I mean, you can. I
mean, if you're not going to listen to a Hall of Famer, then that's on you.
I mean, that is true. How many? And this would be before I go into words. Jerry Jones talks to Deion Sanders about coaching job. Another story. That's all it is they've just talked.
Well, Deion came out with the statement last night and said that Jerry Jones can make you feel really special, but he said that he doesn't want to leave everything that they have for him in Colorado.
He told me that he has a lot of unfinished business in Colorado, and he wouldn't even think about considering leaving Colorado till he saw his entire recruiting class through graduation, which means that's 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? From your first recruiting class to the time, if they stay with the program, that's 4 or 5 years.
I mean, but for not winning a bowl game in 2 seasons to having, Jerry Jones call you about the Cowboys job, though, I mean, that's a lot of belief in Deion.
Yeah. I mean, his stock, I think, Seth, as he continues to build consistency in Colorado, let's say that they make the bowl games, for the rest of Deion's coaching career, they're at least a 6 or 7 win program, and let's say they get lucky. They weren't that far off this year, but let's say they get lucky and win is it the Pac-12 now, Lummy? Is that what it is, or is it the Big? Is
the
it
Big 12?
They get lucky and win the Big 12. Well, now they got an automatic seat. To the college playoffs, and that's another level that Colorado could have only dreamed of. The last time that they even thought about having a program was like 90-91, with I think when the guy from Northwest, because Gary Burnett, that was their coach, maybe
Gary Barnett.
So Deion, his stock is going to continue to rise, and here's what's going to happen: never on the pro level. But there's going to be a big, big, big college job open up here one of these days. And they're going to throw Deion 15, 18 million, whether it's a Florida State job, whether it's, a Florida job, whether it's a Clemson job, whether it's an Alabama job, a Texas A&M job, a Michigan job. I mean, don't think the guy on Michigan isn't on thin ice right now.
Why? They beat Ohio State.
Yeah, but they didn't they didn't make the playoffs.
Well,
that's kind of the litmus test when you're on.
He's on thin ice in his first year.
But what I'm saying is wasn't the Ohio State guy on thin ice after getting beat by Michigan?
On Twitter, he was.
Sure.
Yeah, Michigan won the Valais Quest Bowl.
So what I'm saying is, though, all these major programs, the Clemsons, the Florida States, the Floridas, the Auburns, the LSUs, the Texas A&Ms, all these premier programs, their litmus test of success is whether they make the playoffs or not. And if you don't make the playoffs, your season's a fail. I don't care how many game. I don't care if you made it to the conference championship. If you don't make it to the college playoffs, you've failed. And so there's going to be in the next 4 years, I think you guys would all agree, a very large program that is in need of I don't know if a turnaround or a rebuild, but some well-needed life infused back into its program. I mean, Dabo Sweeney isn't lighting it on fire right now at Clemson.
No.
I mean, it was just 5 years ago that Clemson was always in the conversation of the national championship game.
I know, they've been quiet.
So, they were about to make the playoffs, and they blew it in the ACC championship.
I'm sorry, what'd you just say?
They missed the playoffs.
No, you said they were about to make the playoffs, and they blew it.
Yeah.
Well, Dabo Sweeney does that a few more times, and he's on his ass.
They did make the playoffs.
But what I'm saying is...
Yeah, they ended up getting, I think they lost to Texas. But Deion Sanders, Deion's never made the playoffs.
No, but he doesn't have to. What he brings to the program what he brings to the program in money, what he brings to the program in enthusiasm, and maybe these teams that don't make the playoffs feel they're only a Deion away from making it. I mean, if Deion can get Colorado competitive, what can he do with a Clemson? What can Deion do with a Florida State? What can Deion do with a Florida?
A lot more than he can do with a turd like Dallas.
Yeah, never. Never.
Dak Prescott.
And he can't.
Dak Prescott,
and he can't go and here's the question I was going to ask, and I got distracted. How many NFL is there? 31 teams. 32 teams. How many of the 32 teams in the NFL head coach is also an NFL Hall of Famer? I don't know of any.
No. I don't think so.
I don't think there's any coach in the NFL.
There will be. Andy Reid will be a Hall of Famer. Like, there will be
as a player.
But right, no.
As a player.
No.
As a player, how many NFL coaches as a player?
Mike Vrabel's in the New England Patriots Hall of Fame. I mean, that's probably as close as it's going to get.
Now, Jim Harbaugh, former coach. Mike Singletary at one time coached the Niners, former coach.
Yep.
You can think of all these former players that went on to be coaches. Ron Rivera, who was a guy from Jacksonville for years. Jack Del Rio.
Mike Ditka.
Hold on. Mike Ditka was he? I think he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right. But that's then, not now.
Yeah.
So, a pro taking guidance from a guy that's the best, and one of the best ever, and has a golden jacket. Maybe that's the secret sauce that we're missing, in the fact that maybe NFL players would respond to a Deion more so than we give them credit to.
Than a guy that just played like at a junior college for a couple of years.
Or just a guy that, was there's a lot of coaches that never played. Most NFL coaches never played as a player in the league.
Sean McVay played at all.
No.
He's one of the best.
John Gruden, the highest he ever made it was, I think he was on the Dayton.
Yeah, it was Dayton, yeah.
He was on the Dayton college team.
As a quarterback.
Vince Lombardi, I think, played at Fordham or West Point. But nobody, again, not a lot have a golden jacket. But anyway, I wanted to just spell the fact Deion Sanders is not, you heard it here first. One, Lummy, I think you may have heard the fact that they're getting an offensive lineman from Ohio State.
Yes.
That's not being reported from anywhere, that I probably should not have let the cat out of the bag. And two, Deion's not leaving Boulder. He's not. Not for Dallas, not for the Raiders, not for any college program. He's not going. He's staying in Boulder. God, I think he makes $10 million a year. And it's a small town.
It's $10 million there is like $20 million in New York.
Right. And it's a small town. Everywhere he goes, Lummy, he is God. Anywhere he frolics around, including Lummy getting a free Skag mower.
That's right.
Let's not forget that. When we return, we'll go through the NFL playoffs are officially set as the Rams destroyed the Vikings last night. Vikings look like crap, and now they're saying, Sam Darnold's free agency stock was, not through the roof, but was very high 48 hours ago.
I said yesterday there was something flim-flammy about the Vikings this year.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
You did. You heard it from the Filthy Ginger. We'll break that down next. Hold on.
If you love that segment, then check out BubbaArmyHQ.com and do a deep dive on past shows. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be right back.
Fake powers. Thank you, Jib. Big bug. T. Barrington. What's up, 717 FTE? He nodded. Fuck you. Biggie. Dave Rock, 69. Good morning. What's up, Neil Montplaisir? Big boat. Nats fan 31. Good morning, Wayne Galasso. Haddock. Paul Rogers. Good morning. Kenny Jean. What's up? Attack of the Dog.
Dan, you didn't get a chance to watch what I sent, did you?
Wait, what did you send?
I emailed you and your two brothers something.
So Sarah Thompson. TNT 1560.
It's okay. Jay did. Jay watched them all.
When did you email me? I don't respond. Oh shit, refreshed.
Oh shit. Say it. I don't respond to Bubba.
I don't respond to emails fast.
That's okay. Jay watched it. My new favorite.
I don't got shit on it. It's just forwarded. There's nothing there.
Yeah, and there's something down if you scroll.
I scroll.
Down.
Oh, so horny. I see now.
You could have watched that yesterday, lover.
I know I could have.
All 3D, 3 of them.
I worked until like 5, and then I had to take Romina out for her birthday dinner last night, and didn't get home till like 10:30. So
Yeah.
I literally had 0 time yesterday.
I understand. Fuck, shit, damn.
Are you doing pigmentation today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for a second, have they been given their rings?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask them. Did you guys bring them today? Because I need to re-give them to you.
Yeah, you're just gonna ask them how they want it to go down.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say, out of all my other employees, I just give them to them. But you seem to be the ones that want a special, deal.
And we can give you anything you want, just no pyrotechnics. Bubba just fired Dabo Sweeney and the coach of Michigan. Man, they said that Bill Belichick would have taken the Cowboys job.
He still could, couldn't he?
Ah.
Isn't there a clause in his contract?
I'm sure. I think
his son becomes the head coach.
That would have made total sense.
TNT.
Yeah, but because him and Jerry.
Oh yeah, they're good buddies. Good
Really?
fit. Yeah. Dude, everybody loves Bill.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios. Aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Lummy, I need to probably get back on time because I got Jesse Dupree from Jackal on today at 9:15. Jesse is very long-winded. We go long usually, so I need to have a lot cleared up for him. The official NFL playoffs are set. There are 8 teams left in the AFL. The AFC.
What?
In the AFC, formerly the AFL. In the AFC, you have the Chiefs hosting the Texans and the Bills hosting the Ravens. The Texans-Chiefs game goes down at 4:30 on Saturday, and the Bills hosting the Ravens goes down at 6:30 on Sunday. The NFC has the Saturday game at 8 o'clock, and that's Lions hosting the Commanders. And then Sunday at 3 o'clock, the Eagles host the Rams. I mean, I think it ends up, in my opinion, AFC. I'd love to see the Texans beat the Chiefs. I really would. And is there a chance because of the Texans' defense being so stingy? Is there a chance?
I'd like to see anybody beat the Chiefs. I'm so tired of the Chiefs.
Seth breaking it down, you, Rat, Lummy. I mean,
there's definitely a chance.
Yeah, I mean,
it's as down of a year as people want to think that Mahomes or the Chiefs had. I think they won 14, 15 games.
Yes.
It's incredible how well they've done. But a lot of them were like games that were almost BS. They just barely won.
What about, how do you guys see the Bills-Ravens? I mean, that's another great matchup.
I like the Bills.
The Bills are tough. But, man, I mean, the MVP of the league is going to be Lamar Thomas, or whatever the hell the guy's name is, Lamar Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo! I am for real. He's they were comparing him and Josh Allen's stats last week. I thought that, Lamar's stats dwarfed Josh Allen, or whatever the hell the guy's name is.
But we talked about this, and if you take Josh Allen off of the Bills are not the same team as if you take Lamar Jackson off the Ravens.
So is that how they judge the MVP?
Should be.
Is like
what they got Derrick Henry.
That's how. I mean, that's how it should be when they judge MVP. That's why Tom Brady got robbed of MVP in 2021 when they gave it to Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady beat him in yards, touchdowns, pass attempts, pass percentage, and they still gave it to Aaron Rodgers because they had a better record. They were the 1 seed. They had the same record actually, but they were the 1 seed that year.
Lion, who Lummies, like what are my BRN odds makers saying on the Ravens Bills?
I mean, let's see here.
I like the Ravens.
Ravens -1.
Yeah, it's still.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
it popped up for a minute to 2 points. I mean, it's a lot of money went on there, but it's back down to 1.
I'd love to see a Ravens Texans AFC championship, and then you go over to the NFC side of things. I mean, the Rams showed some unbelievable, fight last night. Shut down Sam Darnold like you wouldn't believe. Eagles. I thought the Eagles looked flat, if not that good against the Packers. Basically, the Packers stopped them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Packers.
They lost the game, but they really kind of controlled them.
I mean, the Packers had 4 turnovers, more yards. More. I mean, I think the Eagles had more rushing, a few more rushing yards, but I thought the Packers, probably played. Had they not had the 4 turnovers, starting with the Nixon fumble on the opening kickoff, I think the Packers could have either won that game or been a lot tighter. I think the Eagles might. I wouldn't say been exposed, but I think the Rams can go into Philly and beat them.
Doug Woodard, $20.
What's the line on that, Lummy?
Philly by 6.
Yep.
Philly by 6?
Yeah, I'd put money on the Rams.
So would I. And then Lions Commanders, I don't think that's going to even be close.
You don't think so?
No.
I wouldn't sleep on Washington this year, and I just say that because there's a lot of things that have fallen into place for them this season that really only happens when it's your year. Them beating
when
the
it's
Bucks
your
on a dinger field goal, and then the Hail Mary earlier this year.
When it's your Cinderella year, it's your Cinderella year, right? I mean, when you're locked into your Cinderella year, stuff happens.
Yeah, sometimes just stuff falls into place. So I would not be surprised if they took the Lions.
75% of the time that the ball hits the upright, it does not go in.
I know.
I mean, I'm just saying, when you get a dink dunk on the upright and it goes in, that's your year. That something's, you got the it factor.
Mines are 9.5.
9.5? I'd take that all day. I might have to go to mybookie.com, Lummy, and put some bets in.
And this is some recency bias, man. The Lions have been blowing out teams left and right this whole season, and now they didn't play 1 week, and we got to watch out for the Commanders.
I think it gets overblown, but I do think that matters.
Listen, Matt Stafford said yesterday, and it may be the Rams' year. They said they're playing for the whole community of L.A.
No, okay.
So
they're playing for that homeless guy whose tent got burnt down? Okay. Guy that couldn't make it to SoFi Stadium if his life depended on it.
Yeah, the homeless guy that probably started the fire.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how much more disasters are really, really mean when they're in L.A., right?
Jefferson, $20 FT engine retarder, McKellicuddy.
Well, they had a lot happening before the game last night. I had the volume down, but it looked like they did about 7 or 8 American songs before they finally played. It was like a Super Bowl.
So anyway, man, can you imagine if the Commanders beat the Lions?
Oh, God.
Rams beat the Eagles. We got a Commanders-Rams NFC championship. If you're looking at underdogs, I'd love to see like a Ravens Commanders, and isn't that in real general close proximity of each other? Baltimore.
Oh yeah, they're right next to each other.
I mean, they're like
they already played this year.
That's in Orlando.
That's when that Ravens guy knocked out those Commanders fans. Remember when he was just walking down the street?
Like if you would take stadium to stadium distance, that might be the 2 closest stadiums in the league. If you look at, I'm trying to think, you got Vegas, LA.
There used to be when there was San Francisco and Oakland. They were pretty close.
Yeah?
They were really close, but they don't have that anymore. So
wonder how far Baltimore from
38.3 miles.
38.3 miles. So that's literally, Lummy, like if the Bucks played somebody in Brooksville, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Commanders, Ravens. Would that be that doesn't sound very sexy though, now does it?
No, that's horrible.
Is that horrible for the league?
Oh, the league would absolutely shoot itself.
Oh my God, Commanders Ravens Super Bowl would be the absolute worst thing ever possible to the NFL.
The Texans Commanders would be the absolute worst Super Bowl for
but
them.
at least someone's got to fly. We're talking about 2 teams that are right next to each other.
We need fly.
Oh, you're right. They have to go to New Orleans.
Bowl, yeah.
Right.
Shefty, what's the latest with Mike McCarthy and his whole situation with Dallas? I know just as the show started, there's reports that Mike McCarthy is no longer going to be back in Dallas. Can you tell us what the latest is?
Yeah, the 2 sides officially are parting ways. They met over the course of the last week. And
listen, Scheffner, whoever, Jay Glazer, McCarthy's going to the Bears. And it just makes sense. Really? He's a former NFC North guy. He's, the Bears a lot of times really like to hire former Packers, especially successful ones. I see McCarthy going to the Bears. Let's talk to the Bears fan here. What are you hearing or what are you feeling, Seth, with regards to McCarthy to the Bears?
I think that he's. I think that he would be considered a top candidate, but I don't think he's at the top.
You don't think?
No. I still think it's Ben Johnson.
Basically had discussions about football. No business discussions. They never got to that.
I don't know, man. I think Mike McCarthy represents, the black and blue division, with his tenure in Green Bay, and I think he fits in nicely with what, with the Chicago way, if you will, their mantra and how they play football and
he's an upgrade from what we had. I mean, I'm not gonna.
He's a quarterback developer. Everybody would at least agree to that.
Yeah,
He's a quarterback developer, and that's part of the job when you take on Chicago. You got a piece of very moldable, really, really, really good quality Clay. Now make him into the best quarterback you can. You got a really good start with him.
But here's how it always goes. Do you want to take the retread / established coach like Mike McCarthy where you pretty much know what you're going to get, or do you roll the dice on this brilliant offensive coordinator who's been coveted for the last 3 years, Ben Johnson from the Lions, and you let him take over and see what his ceiling is?
And there's one team that's looking for a head coach that likes to bring back previous head coaches with quarterback, guru, and that's Jacksonville. So I can see McCarthy
going to Jacksonville, and the coordinator from the Lions going to the Bears. I think it would be a breath of fresh air. I think McCarthy going to the Bears is more blasé than is it what's the guy's name, Johnson?
Yeah.
I think Johnson going from Detroit to Chicago is sexier and would probably infuse more enthusiasm than a guy that has been there, has done it, and he wasn't not successful in Dallas. He just couldn't win in the playoffs. Right? One year, last year they won 14 games, and the Packers went in the 7th seed and knocked them off. So he's not he's not an unsuccessful guy, but he is kind of on the backside retread of his career.
Dude, I'm not going to coach anywhere where Jerry Jones is constructing my roster.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Aikman was alluding to when he kind of cut down Jerry, is that, you look at all these great coaches in the NFL who coach with their own style, with their own brand. If you take Dan Campbell in Detroit and put him as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, he's probably not going to be the same Dan Campbell in Detroit because Jerry has to be the star. Jerry has to run the show. And he really puts a hard limit on these guys. It makes it tough to coach there.
Can anybody tell Jerry, take a step back. Let's bring in a GM. Let's bring in an offensive coordinator. Or do you got it? Is that the problem? Is it's got to be about Jerry?
It's about Jerry.
Ever since Jerry's been in this, Jerry's only won. I think Jerry's only won 2 championships?
3. I think 3.
3.
He's
two with Jimmy Johnson.
But it's also it was also a different era too back then.
It was, yeah.
And it's different now. It's way different now. How you assess personnel, how you talk to personnel, what your coaches are allowed to do.
Jerry's running that team like a radio show.
Yeah, I think that you're directing that towards me. You and I might have to talk afterwards.
I don't think Mike will be out of a job for too long, but this job's as coveted as any because you're going to run the Dallas Cowboys. In what direction do you think they ought to look?
Well, radio shows are far different than NFL franchises.
No, it's just a joke.
Mike McCarthy would be
because if Jerry was if I was running this like Jerry Jones, then I wouldn't be the host. I'd have to have somebody else be the host, and I would just be back there, No,
listen, if Jerry Jones could.
But if you were running it like Jerry Jones, you'd be back there backseat driving, putting yourself on the microphone all the time.
Yeah, but maybe Jerry. If Jerry Jones, if I was running like Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones would be the host.
That's right.
Jerry Jones would be the quarterback.
He would. He'd be the head coach.
Jerry Jones, if he ran it like the way I run my place, is that he would be Jerry Jones. He owns it. He general manages it. He coaches it. There would be 2 people removed.
It's just like what you're doing.
Yeah, drawing parallels.
It's exactly what you're doing, Bubba. You own it. You coach it. You host it. You run
Jerry Jones isn't the quarterback, and Jerry Jones isn't the coach.
Jerry Jones said he wanted to be like Al Davis, and Al Davis was a coach.
But here's the deal.
Point.
I'm worse than Jerry Jones in the fact that at least Jerry Jones has a coach and a quarterback. I don't have those. I have to be those 2 too. Can you imagine if Jerry Jones had to be the coach and the quarterback?
That would be
90-year-old guy back there, being the quarterback.
I think you're more like Aaron Rodgers, where you are the quarterback of the team, but you also like to dabble with management.
But Aaron Rodgers doesn't own the teams he plays for.
Yeah, this is really a hard parallel.
Yeah, I don't think there is a parallel.
Direction.
I think it's a parallel. I think it's a parallel of all successful radio shows.
You're like the guy at Heaven Can Wait.
I'm like Howard.
No, remember the movie Heaven Can Wait, where he wanted to play football, so he bought the team so he could Be the quarterback?
No, I don't remember that after school special, Dan. Thanks.
That was like
An after
that was
school.
the
Coveted as any.
70s.
Special.
I wasn't watching ABC's
Warren
after
Beatty
school
was in
Raw.
Warren Beatty, exactly.
Okay.
The guy with the saxophone.
That's great. I'm not.
Come on, Bubba.
I also didn't see your Winona Judd video too when it came out. So No, I mean, I think I run this place like any semi-successful radio company that is owned by Glenn Beck, Howard Stern. It comes a point where you have to be you got to be the host, and you got to be the owner, and you got to be personnel. Howard has Marcy Turk, who runs personnel. I think if I had a Marcy Turk running this place, you would all quit.
Right.
You would all quit.
You've got an EP at Lummy, so we're good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly.
I don't think Mike will be out of a job for too long, but this job's as coveted as any because you're going to run the Dallas Cowboys. In what direction?
But that's it. You're only going to coach. You don't have any other say-so.
Do you think they ought to?
I mean, when they show draft day in the war room, Jerry makes the calls. I think the coach is there to put his input. But to my understanding, Jerry makes the call.
His son has some say. I know Jerry wanted to draft Johnny Manziel back in the day, and his son talked him out of it.
Okay, that was probably pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. But, what I'm saying is, I don't know that Mike McCarthy... Do most head coaches, when they're in the war room, do they have a say-so?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it mostly... Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, because you want to... as the GM or whatever, I mean, you want to give your head coach the players he needs to coach to be successful with. I mean, it might not be the deciding factor, but a lot of the times you'll see the GM and the head coach hugging after a pick because they totally agree on who they want.
And it's a different formula for every front office on how much power each guy has, how much say-so they have, and what the pick will ultimately be.
That's
Jerry
true.
Jones in Dallas isn't going to be the same as Al Davis with the Raiders.
Or, Green Bay, Matt LaFleur, and Brian Gutekunst.
Right.
The relationship that, again, every situation's probably different based on your success and tenure with the company, right?
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, I think when he was with Seattle, I don't think was he the GM too?
No,
but I think that Pete Carroll, carried a large say-so in who they drafted.
Yeah, that was Mike Holmgren when he was there.
The look.
Well, I thought Mike McCarthy would be the head coach, so this is a bit of a surprise for me today that he's not going to be. And what went into those conversations that Schefter talked about, I'm not exactly sure, but it suggests that there's not a real plan. I mean, and the fact that they haven't had the opportunity to maybe interview a Ben Johnson and some of these others, Aaron Glenn. I think that what Schefter said as far as Kellen Moore being a candidate, that seems logical to me. A guy who has familiarity with the building. He's worked obviously with the Cowboys and with Jerry Jones, and they know each other very well. In fact, when Mike McCarthy got the job, it was told to Mike that Kellen Moore would be the offensive coordinator. So that's how much the Jones family thinks of him. Beyond that,
and boy, how many times does that happen as an NFL coach or even a coach in the collegiate level? Usually, the school or the general manager or the owner doesn't dabble in your staff. You're allowed to pick your staff. You're allowed to bring your guys in. And when Mike McCarthy took the job for the Cowboys, he was already told who was going to be his offensive coordinator. I mean, that's not the way it usually goes.
The Bucs did it to Lovey.
It's hard to imagine. As far as a
they did?
Yeah, Dirk Cutter's got to be your offense coordinator.
coveted job. I don't know that that's accurate. I mean,
Really?
I do think the Cowboys are obviously a high-profile team. Whoever is covering or whoever is head coach of that team is certainly going to draw a lot of attention. But I think most football people that take over as a head coach, they want to do it on their terms.
That's
and
fair.
That's hard to do. And it's, if you take a Dan Campbell, for instance, is Dan Campbell if he's with the Dallas Cowboys? It's hard to imagine that he is. It's hard to imagine that a lot of these coaches might be. So I love the Dallas Cowboys. I played there for 12 years. I wish them well. But to say that it's a coveted job, I'm not sure I would necessarily agree with that.
I agree. I agree with Troy Aikman. And I was right when I said 12. Somebody corrected me and said 14.
I said I thought it was 14. I didn't correct you.
I know, but I end up being right.
That's what I get for thinking.
Popular Orlando nightclub manager indicted on sex charges involving kids, some under 12.
Oh, that's gross.
Why
It
can't
is in Tampa too?
There's two. Yeah, there's the Orlando nightclub.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Southern
Nights.
Southern Nights. There's one in Tampa and there's one in Orlando. I think this guy owned the one in Orlando and managed Tampa, or had something to do with both.
I think he owned both and managed the one in Orlando.
Okay. And here's the deal, man. How can you sickos out there not understand? You could. I mean, I can't rewire how you're sexually wired and what you're into, but you're never going to get away with exchanging child porn or talking to a 12-year-old or trying to meet a 12-year-old. Every police agency, every major law enforcement branch has specifically a division of detectives that are posing as underage kids trying to get you sickos, and you sickos just
fall for it.
You fall for it every time. You fall for it every time. Now, I can't tell you what to be attracted to and what not, but I can tell you that you can't act on what turns you on if turning you on and what gets you excited is involving children. You just have to suppress that and do it privately, because you're going to get caught and they're going to throw the book at you. And then you're always going to be a weirdo while you're in jail. In fact, when you go to jail, they can't even put you in general pop because you might get the broomstick treatment. So now you're with a bunch of chomos. And nothing is worse than preying on a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, go have, be a single dude or whatever and, masturbate to whatever. I don't even think you can masturbate to it, because I think owning that material in itself is illegal.
LM closed, you can remember.
Yeah, having possession of it's illegal.
Yeah, so close your eyes and just, make believe.
It looks like it was his partner, too.
Who was his partner?
He says Ybor City bar owner and his romantic partner face child porn charges.
If I was attracted to kids, I would seek mental help, mentally rewiring, or I would kill myself. I mean, there's not really an in-between.
Unfortunately, I just don't think there's a rewire process for those people. I don't think you can rehab those people. They just need to be put down.
I agree.
Back with that next. Hold on.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com.
Right now.
The Bubba the Love Sponge show will be back after this.
It should be burned.
Tell me about this. He's going to bring up the sports thing. Sports doctor thing? The sports doctor thing?
Is Handyman Roofing for Breezy?
Yeah.
Oh, they just showed a commercial for it.
Yeah.
You want me to give him your number? I mean, you want me to give your number to him?
Someone call me Friday. Okay. Is he a barber? Is he a barber guy?
No. Can we give him your cell? Want to call the office? Have him talk to Jay.
I'll talk to him.
Friday.
Hey, good morning, CC, Iggy, it's Mark, Nick the Gun Guy, Jay Fish, Ryder. TNT. Short stroker. So this looks there. That's funny. I'll Google it. Don't even have that on your server.
Hey, Bubba, are we going to cover the inauguration? It said, because it said Monday at 10.
Yeah, we could go live. I mean, for the after show.
Oh, it's hours, though, I think. Isn't it like a 2-hour process?
Yeah.
What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, I do think it.
Stab into it.
Oh, God.
It's also a K-Day sense, though.
Full schedule.
There's parades we gotta get to.
Parades?
Yeah.
Carrie Underwood's performing.
That's right.
Woohoo.
Someone might be there, too.
Who?
Brother might be there.
Oh, fuck off.
Okay. He said it.
Who might be there?
Brother.
Oh, he better be in the crowd with
He
a bunch
said
of-
it. He
bunch
said
of-
it.
And the crowd are like on the stage.
He said he might be lurking around, causing a little chaos.
He's turning into a fucking.
Right there. He says it in that.
He's trying to be a heel now.
No,
I don't know. No, he just needs to chill out.
Karaoke Monday, baby's back. Nick's leading the charge.
Nick's leading the charge. Karaoke
He
Monday.
beat him in the arm wrestling contest that they had with Jimmy Hart.
How long is the... Okay, it already started on Saturday. It already starts Saturday. Oh boy. Well, it doesn't have. The swearing in ceremony is the third thing.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other shit, but it's after.
Big party, man.
Yeah, because they Starlight Ball, Commander in Chief Ball, Presidential Parade. That's after Oval Office signing. The parade's at 2:30.
Really? The dog found the porn?
Israel and Hamas about to hit a ceasefire.
I know there's porn sniffing dogs.
About to get all the hostages back.
It's like Biden promised.
Did he?
No.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabeto studios.
Aquabeto.com/Bubba.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. This is the week of BARP. So, Lummy, I'm assuming things will be slow because the big whales will be coming into town. Thinking they'll probably set records on the live, in-person studio audience, Bubba 199 Friday. That's 8 to 10. The festivities are as such. 5 to 9 Thursday, the pig roast. Friday, 8 to 10, Bubba 199, all of which are at the studios. And then Saturday, 8 to whatever, is the BARP festivities, including getting your ring and the Hall of Fame swearing in deal. Jeez, this guy sounds like he's in the middle of on top of Mount Everest. Doesn't it sound like? Hello. Hello.
Santa Ana wins here.
Jesus. I'm here fighting fires. Hello.
Hello, Bubba.
Yes, sir.
Got the perfect analogy for who you are.
Okay, I'm just...
Will Ferrell, semi-pro.
Will Ferrell, Semi-pro.
The movie Semi-Pro.
In the movie Semi-Pro with Woody Harrelson. He owned the team. He coached the team. He played on the team.
And how successful was the team? Did they suck or were they good?
They started off sucking, but then, they became the best in their little league.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
And
Maybe
the NBA picked him up.
Maybe that's where we're headed. We
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Here's this story out of Orlando. The kid toucher.
Former owner of a popular Orlando nightclub has been indicted on charges related to child pornography.
WashU's Gail Pascal Brown joins us in studio tonight. And Gail, we just got an update from the.
Does anybody know what she just said?
No.
Listen.
On charges related to child pornography.
This is where her line picks up.
WashU's Gail Pascal Brown joins us in studio tonight. And Gail, we just got an update from the club.
Something Brown joins us in
Gail
studio.
Pascal Brown. Gail Pascal Brown.
Nice little bun.
But
thanks.
Enunciate. Could I be the news director and you take the African American girl aside in the office and say, "Ma'am," or Rhonda or Jenny or whatever your name is, Sandy, can you while introducing a story or throwing it over to a colleague, can you slow it down and pronunciate a little bit better, please? I think you said, Channel 2s or was it Wesh 2s, Pasco Brown or whatever the hell.
Yeah. On charges related to child pornography.
WashU's Gail Pascal Brown joins us in studio tonight. And Gail, we just got an update from.
Is it me?
Joins us in studio tonight.
Is it me? Is she pretty slurred up there?
She's slurring them. She's combining words. She's been drinking. No, I'm joking. I don't know if she has, but that's what
Gail
drinkers
Pascal
do.
Brown joins us.
You could probably at least have a conversation with you. Can you slow down for me a little bit, please? Or would that be sexist? And I'm white.
Racist.
I'm white. She's black.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell a white person to slow down. Only a black person, and now I'm fired.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be the news person there anyhow.
Charges related to child pornography.
WashU's Gail Pascal Brown joins us in studio tonight. And Gail, we just got an update from the club.
That's right, Summer. Just before our newscast, Southern Knights and District Dive.
I think WESH2 might be into DE.
Yeah,
heavily into DEI hiring.
That's what I was saying. You want to be the director.
Right.
Released a statement on Facebook that Richard Kowalczyk has transferred his ownership and has stepped down from all responsibilities.
Now, by the way, Gail Pascal Brown's nailing it. Very much. You can understand what she's saying. She's using inflection. She's using some hand movement. On the other hand, she's nailing it. So let me, in my same meeting, if I pulled Gail in there and said, "Gail, I want to let you know the Southern Knights piece that you did, you nailed. Great job."
Yeah, she's nailing it.
Now, the woman that threw it to you, not so much. She had soma tongue. Having her go to HR to test for drugs right now.
Both he and Eric Patrick are facing federal charges. A grand jury indicted the now former owner of Southern Knights, an LGBTQ plus club, and another man on several sex charges involving minors. These allegations are from July 1st of 2020.
Now, Dan, are you more in trouble when you get indicted by the state attorney? What's the difference between an indictment that happens from a grand jury as compared to a state attorney?
Okay, well, if you get an indictment from a grand jury or an information from a state attorney, they're identical.
Is it sometimes that
it doesn't matter?
But is it sometimes that state attorneys will use a grand jury to further insulate them in the fact that they can say, "Hey, I threw it to a grand jury. They're the ones that made the recommendation. It wasn't my sole discretion to do the indictment. I threw it to a grand jury." Is that sometimes
they'll do that for socio-political reasons sometimes,
or maybe a case like this,
or this is a clean cut. I mean, this is an open and shut case.
I mean, if I'm the district attorney, I want to put my name on this.
Right.
I want to be known as the guy that brings charges up on these two scumbags. Right?
Right.
I don't want a grand jury. I want to say Bubba Clem.
Now, the stuff that they went up against Trump went through grand juries, and it was just presented to them in a way that they would endorse it. And in those situations, the prosecutors were absolutely trying to insulate themselves.
to February 10th of 2021. Richard Kowalczyk was listed as the owner of Southern Nights in Orlando. He and Eric Patrick are both named in the indictment filed in federal court in Orlando earlier this month. The men face several counts, including attempted coercion, distribution of child pornography, receipt and possession of child porn. Investigators say both men used...
Again, all of you sickos out there, there's a better than 50-50 chance that you're not talking to that 12-year-old that you think you are. You're talking to one of Grady's boys. Like, I'm for real. Like, you need to get out of this business.
A facility and means of interstate commerce did knowingly attempt to persuade, induce, entice, and coerce an individual who had not attained the age of 18 years to engage in sexual activity and production of child porn. Court documents go on to say they exchanged sexual images of people they met on the app Grindr under the age of 18.
Grindr? Is that what it is, Lummy? Grindr?
Yes, Grindr.
Is that where gay people go?
That's where the boys hang out.
True, yep.
You just open up the app and it just tells you everybody that's in the area that has Grindr. So you
For
can,
real?
Yeah. So if like you
so
see,
like if I was on Grindr right now, I'd open up and be like, "Hey, Fred's just over there at the Hampton Inn."
Yeah, like if Fred's like ready to meet somebody and he's got to go in at the 7-Eleven or something, like yeah, you could try to meet him.
Right.
But I'm
So
more of
it
a
shows
scruff.
you-
I'm more of a scruff guy.
It shows you're more of what?
Scruff.
Is that another app?
It's competition, yeah.
In one count, the indictment says Kowalczyk possessed pornographic material, and the depiction involved a prepubescent minor who
was under 12.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Not attained 12 years of age. According to this indictment, several electronic devices were seized, including 2 cell phones and a desktop computer. I spoke with their attorney, Fritz Scheller, who provided the following statement. Mr. Kowalczyk and Mr. Patrick have pled not guilty and continue to maintain their innocence. They trust in the legal system to prove them right. Southern Nights and District Dive also said in the Facebook statement that the businesses had no part in the allegations and do not condone the alleged actions. Now, the men's next court date in federal court is next month.
Now, there is a Southern Nights in
Ybor, yes.
In Ybor?
Yes, there is.
Associated with this one?
The guy owns it.
Summer.
I guess he doesn't really manage it, but he owns it.
Yeah, he was a co-owner, and then I think they said Monday they ended up releasing a statement. He's, now the former owner. He's released
from the Ybor one, or from both, maybe, right?
From both, from everything.
Hi, who's this?
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's Kyle, Bubba. I just wanted to call and let you know I was by your track on December 27th.
Yeah. Welcome to my world. Now, he was by my track on December 27th. Do I take that as...
Did he say 7/27 or December 27th?
December.
27th, December.
December 27th. So do I take that as I was by your track on December 27th, and wow, I never really knew that the track was right there off of 9050 Northwest Gainesville Road in Ocala, and it looked like a kind of a neat place. So I pulled in. We get a bunch of looky-loos that call in, that pull in during the middle of the week and be like, man, I just wanted to take a look at the track, see what it looks like and stuff. I hear Bubba talk about it all the time. I don't know if that's what he's going with it. I don't know.
It's like Graceland.
I don't know if he was going with, I was out there and I saw you on the grader, because I think on the 27th I may have been there.
I think it was a threat.
Or I was going by there to see, to size it up, because I'm gonna backpack it to smithereens.
You didn't have any races or anything that weekend?
No,
because December 22nd, I think you had the Monster Truck Show, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was earlier than that. But
no, I think it was just 22nd. Yeah, we had the son of Gravedigger, or the Slinger, whatever the hell it was. I know that Dennis Anderson was there. Or you were there too.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's a great time.
So, sir, I don't know if you call me as friend or foe, but welcome to my world. Now I have that. Now I have that in my little head, Lummy, that some guy's going to pick me off like the CEO of United Health.
When you're on your grader?
When I'm on my grader.
Oh, boy.
But that's how you want to go out anyway, isn't it?
That'd be horrible, though, if a guy killed me in my grader and I, obviously lost control of the grader.
Well, you'd be dead. What do you mean?
But the grader could literally plow through.
Yeah.
I mean, the grader, it could hit the wall and keep going. And
all right, sir, please don't shoot Bubba on the grader.
Well, I think he's back on one.
Everything else is in play.
I'm just gonna start calling you when I go and do stuff.
Hello.
Oh, hey, sorry, I got into a really bad cell area. I was by on Saturday. I'm up in Canada, and I was going across to Sarasota, and we were driving right by there, and that's what I called to tell you. It's an awesome place, and I wish I could have gone to the race on the 3rd, but we were down in Key West.
Yeah, we had a race.
I'm going to make it a point.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go. Oh, I was just saying, I'm going to make it a point. We come down quite a bit. And I'm going to make it a point. We're going to come back down and go to the race next year.
We're racing all of next week, like Tuesday through Saturday of next week. Then we have a week off, and then we're racing all of like the first or second week of February, and all of the second or third week of February. Like we got like I have my schedule over here, and I showed Seth. But anyway, we got a lot of races. We're racing, I think we got 16 total races.
Wow, that's a lot.
From now till January 5th. In 1 month, in the next 30 days, I got 16 or 17 races. Jeez. So chances are, man, you can. And we're semi-friendly. Just pull in there at the stockyard and walk over.
I did. I pulled in, I turned around in my truck, and when I got out, the big lad in the nice motorhome that was there, and your guy, there was 2 guys out working on the track. And as soon as I got out, he said, "Hey, bud, can I help you?" And I just said, I've been listening to Bubba since the satellite days, and I wanted to check out. We were driving by.
What'd you think about the track?
I think it's awesome. I wish I could have came back. I said, "Is there a race this weekend?" He said, "No, on the 3rd," and we were going to Key West. So we had to miss it. But I would have been there. No, it looks cool. I hear about it all the time. And we were driving by it, and I'm like, oh, we got to go check out Bubba's track.
I look forward. And we are semi-friendly, so I look forward to seeing you soon, my friend, in one of these races in the next 30 or so days, man. Appreciate you. Be safe.
Well,
thanks. Hello.
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know what your number one podcast is, but that Tuttle Christian podcast, that was pretty darn good yesterday.
I did not get a chance to hear it, but I looked at the numbers, and the numbers are very competitive. Seth, that's more your world. That would be
doing great.
Yeah, and it would be great if we could get more of that.
I think it's their 4th or 5th episode. Yeah, they've been doing it pretty consistently.
Perfect. You think they're going to end up together?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
What were the
one more thing?
All right.
That I talked to you before about my concrete job in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I found out the guy is licensed, insured, and bonded, so we are going after him.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Great. Licensed, insured, and bonded means you need to get yourself an attorney, my friend.
I've already done it. I already took care of that. They're sending him a letter to see if he'll do anything about it before we take him to court.
Perfect. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you listening to the show by whatever means.
I listen on Twitch each morning.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate
That's the only one I can listen to that doesn't show me the video that I can do audio only on.
Right. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Lummi, is the app looking good?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
He said it was at the finish line the
It's
other
at
day.
the finish line.
I asked him what that meant as far as days.
The sniper shot both our legs out, and we're crawling to the finish line, Bubba.
Legless and armless. Just a
they
torso.
got IED'd.
We're
rolling.
We're flopping to
We're
the
rolling to the finish line.
We're like Hezbollah after the beepers, man. We're just trying to
Yes.
be
So
there
we're,
soon.
I mean, we're close.
We're,
Like, would
we're
you,
very
would,
close, Bubba.
Would you say by Valentine's Day?
I'm not going to say a date.
Want to listen to the show on demand and on the go? Enlist today at BubbaArmyHQ.com. Sign up and start listening. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be back after this.
Perfect. Waiting for 542. Langhorne, 39, 42 months. Street, Glide Street, 41 months. That sucks. Mark Jones. Stop and go, Steve. What's up, Little Warmers, Afterbird, Goober Lips, somehow the gosh, Travis. Of course, Nizik. That great value. And that's nice. For you, this segment. What's up, Glow Bug?
Yeah, of course. Whatever. Always whatever. I know you always got stuff to do.
Thank you.
Even if you need to leave a little, I mean, whatever, bud.
Okay, thank you. Was this a case for them?
Yeah. You notice what color it is?
Yeah, it's gold.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
Well, I mean, I'm getting the 3-on-3 basketball tourney set up for Barb, so I don't know if you guys want to just angle the stage or the.
We're just gonna line it all around it. You gotta play around it.
What this is for?
Is that
That's
okay?
a wrench.
Hey.
But I'm ready.
Gotta get your team how to play around it.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios, aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Jesse Water, by the way, the Bubba the Love Sponge Show, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, at the Bubba Army. Got to get a hold of Terry from Terry's Automotive today to see if indeed the cream machine is done mechanically, Lummy, so I can bring it over. I don't even know that I'm going to even have an opportunity to paint it. It may just have to go up to Ocala as the cream machine, because I know Macho and Rad and those guys got a bunch of cameras and stuff to retrofit in there to make our studio.
Yes.
My mobile broadcast studio that I'm trying to configure so that after all of the Winter Nationals, of every race, the first, second, and third place guy goes directly to the cream machine, and we do we're live on the 3 places I want to be live: Facebook, YouTube, and X. We just go live and we just talk about the race, and they can talk smack about each other, whether this guy drove him dirty or that or what have you. So I'm hopefully getting the cream machine here in the next day or two. Of course, I'll park at the back. As you can see, Lummy, I've already started moving vehicles to the back to clear the way.
Good.
I know that, was it tomorrow the portalets come?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And I think I gave you the credit card, so I think we're prepaid and everything on that.
All good to go. We'll be delivered here Wednesday. They wanted to get it here a little earlier just so we had it, and if we wanted to move stuff. And
the tent, the tent guys will be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So tomorrow, I might have you guys, park on the grass outside and in the parking lot little area. I'll go over that with you today.
Okay.
After Clement Cush.
All right.
It seems like Jesse Waters just loves having Hulk Hogan on.
This might be his last one, though.
And it seems like Hulk Hogan likes being on.
Yeah, but I think Jesse might have.
The only place he's not getting booed.
Do you think that maybe people are over Hogan?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So
he over-Hoganed himself.
He did. He oversold himself.
Can I ask a somewhat political question, and maybe more towards Dan? Dan, do you hate like a fake Republican, like a guy that completely used the right side of America to try to shill his beer, and now he goes on and acting like he's been this way from day one? Or you just take anybody who's on your side?
No, I understand what you're saying, and it does seem he's only doing it to promote his beer. So
I don't know if you watched this. I watched it last night in real time, and Jesse Waters looks like he
is cringing.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know what the hell Hogan was doing.
He was on pills and drinking.
He looks like it.
Yeah,
Hulk
well, that's
Hogan
what happens.
Joins us now.
He's trying to put the
After he
side of the
chugs
beer on the camera.
Yeah.
How you doing, Hulk?
Man, I cannot believe you pulled me out of the party, brother. We got Hogan's Hangout, first night of karaoke. We're drinking real American beer made by real Americans. We got a real American president, brother, and we're already celebrating the inauguration even before it happens because we know we're getting our country back, brother.
God.
Wow.
We got the pre-party inauguration happening right now. Hulk Hogan, if you're interested, just go find him. He's pretty easy to spot. So tell me, your sense of the country, you've seen a lot. And you've seen a lot of...
Yeah.
Woo!
He's plastered.
That's why what I gave you yesterday, Dan, to watch was so important.
change in the course of your career. Where are we right now as a nation?
Well, I've seen the hills and the valleys, brother. I was around back in the day when we had Robert Kennedy doing our thing. But the way it is now, we hit an all-time low. And all of a sudden, when Trump won the election, all of a sudden it was like this dark cloud got lifted off America. Everybody was happy. And all the wah, 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 all the whiners and criers that were out there, they were the ones that created the problem in the first place. America's back on track. We are definitely going to be greater than we've ever been. This is the greatest time to be alive, brother.
Sometimes you need to hit rock bottom to pick yourself back up. And
yeah.
Isn't it weird that Hogan's become Jimmy Hart for Trump?
Oh, my God. What a great analogy, too. What a great analogy. And Hogan, don't even talk about hitting rock bottom, my friend.
Yeah.
Because hitting rock bottom was very, very financially rewarding for you.
To reach new heights. Did the country hit rock bottom? Is that what we're experiencing right now?
How about your best friend hitting rock bottom? How about that?
Well, it was really close, brother. I was really, really worried because can you imagine if we had 8 years of Kamala Harris? Party over, outdone. See you later, brother. But we didn't get that, man. The people stood up. They didn't like the way things are going, and they voted to make America great again, man. This is the time to be alive.
Are you going to be at the inaugural balls doing your thing?
Well, there's a little birdie that says I might just be there pulling a few shenanigans, brother.
So you and Carrie Underwood, you got Snoop Dogg, Kid Rock. I mean, you talk about a comeback for Donald Trump. This is it.
Brother, we've got main event karaoke going on right here. You should have thrown Carrie Underwood my way. I'm giving away championship belts, plenty of money tonight, and a bunch of real American beer, brother.
All right. Well, the party is where
if you've been awarded the amount of money he has, 9 figures. He was awarded 9 figures. He only collected 8. After it was all said and done, I think the Gawker bankruptcy went for $35 million. He was the largest creditor for that. He had $141 million verdict that he won against Gawker. They sold to Univision for $35 million. He was the largest the largest collector of debt. So they got it all $35 million. Within that, I've been told, because Peter Thiel financed it, and after it was all said and done, and again, I don't know this to be true, rumor on the street. Again, I don't know this to be true, rumor on the street. So I've been told is that after it was all said and done, Hogan took about $10 million home from that. The initial Gawker versus Hogan, or Hogan versus Gawker lawsuit that actually went to trial. And then he was, he positioned himself and was suing Cox and Mike Calta and Don Buchwald and Tony Burton and Keith Davidson. And that settled one day before Mike Calta's deposition. And again, I don't know it to be true. But so I've been told, rumor on the streets is that was a $60 million settlement. And Dan, he didn't have to pay the 33 or 40% VIG because he had enough money to pay the hourly.
Perfect.
So he didn't have to go on contingent.
Right. So he's able to finance his own case.
And the worst client is a client with money. Because like your law firm's in the contingency business, and so what do you like? Let's say you got a $10 million lawsuit, but the guy just wants to pay your hourly rate, or you can pick up 35 to 40% of that if you win, right? You don't like that. You don't like the hourly rate deal.
No.
You may only get 500, 600, 700 hours in the deal,
right? Whereas 40% of the first million, and it goes down a little bit as the numbers go up.
Sure,
but still, it's way better than hourly rates most of the time.
I've been told don't know it to be true. Rumor on the street is that he paid Ken Trickel for the second time when they went after Cox and that. His legal bill was $5 or $6 million. $160 million, took home 50.
Right.
So if you add that to the 10. The whole sex tape deal looks like Hogan got about $60 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know
bottom.
if I got $60 million.
You buy a beer?
I don't know that I'm schlepping beer across America or having a nightclub that I'm worried about karaoke.
Well, when your kid runs it.
Well, that's true. I guess my kid needed, I guess I would keep Bubba Raceway Park open, and if my kid talked to me, I'd let maybe him be the general manager, but he doesn't talk to me. So, Nick's obviously a little smarter than my son and retained a relationship with his father.
Wherever Hulk is, and hopefully the next 4 years is a big party for America because we deserve a lot to celebrate. Any last words from Hulkamania?
All I got to say, brother, is I got my Trump pump back on, and I'm going to be riding dirty all the way to that inauguration. I cannot wait for him to be sworn in, brother. It's a new day. It's a new country, and we're going to make America great again because we got a real American president, brother. That's
right.
for sure.
Do you think he'll wear a sleeveless?
Get your Trump pump on, everybody. Great to see you, Hulk. We'll see you at the ball.
Do you think he'll wear a sleeveless suit at the inauguration?
No.
He's going to ride dirty, though.
Yeah, like what does he even know what that means? I mean, like, does he know what riding dirty means?
Maybe that's why he's bringing us a real American beer. He's riding dirty.
I mean, like,
nuts.
do you even know what riding dirty? Right? It's my interpretation that riding dirty means that you're doing something illegal. Right? Like, you know.
You're riding with some, prescription drugs that may not be, actually prescribed.
Or weed or, whatever.
You're doing something seedy.
You're not, riding dirty means you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing.
Correct.
And I don't know that, you should be saying that I'm going to be riding dirty going to the inaugural ball.
Look, I don't have a history with Hogan or anything like that. I've just seen his whole life play out, just like the rest of us have. But for some reason, I'm all about whatever you want to do that makes you happy, make money, But there's that whole thing makes me uncomfortable. To me, I'm embarrassed. I don't know why.
He is just.
Maybe it's like you can never take the pro wrestler out of the guy, and you're always hustling. I mean, I guess you got to respect the hustle, but there's just something about that it's clownish.
When you've made 50 or 60 million, why do you got to hustle still? And when you're 70 years old,
what's enough money? I don't think I don't have a problem if you want to promote your beer or anything like that. I mean, you want to do it, that's great. But to me, just the way that he goes about it, even in character mode, I don't know. It's just it's hard to watch.
I think you said it best. And it was brilliant. It was a brilliant analogy. And it was like, since when has Hulk Hogan became Jimmy Hart for Trump?
Oh, no, that was Dr. Dan.
Oh, was that Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, that was brilliant. It's like he's become Trump's Jimmy Hart. Like,
Kid Rock's been pro-Trump forever, but he's not goofy about it. Right. He's not a character.
Right.
I mean, outside when he was shooting the beer, that was a little weird. But I mean,
still manly though.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
But not.
But Hogan is like idiocracy. It's just it's like that guy, and he keeps doing it more and more and more, and it just becomes more of an embarrassment.
And then he toggles between his character and then real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll break it down and be like, I'm going to tell you something, brother, we got America back, blah, blah, blah. But don't forget about karaoke, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're right. It's very, very idiocracy. Very much so.
People have tragically been killed.
So I will admit that this clickbaited me. I was on YouTube looking for something, and it said L.A. Mayor Karen Bass posts bizarre video amid growing calls to resign. So I don't know if this is clickbait. I don't know, but I was very enamored by
the country's most expensive real estate. And when the fires broke out, LA Mayor Karen Bass was in Africa. And when she returned, instead of answering critical questions from reporters, she chose to just
and Dan,
do you like her voice?
Hold on, Dan.
I like it.
Dan, and here it is. The very, very, what we all have agreed upon, neutral Sky News.
Yes.
So it's not going to have the CNN, Fox, MSNBC, NBC.
They're a little more
News.
intellectually honest.
It might be, the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be right down the middle and be newsy.
Do you like this girl's voice?
Yeah, I think I do.
Ignore those questions and stay silent.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while they're...
Now, we've seen this already.
Yeah.
We've seen this, but I think this is only a very small excerpt of
homes
this.
were burning? Do you
looks like
regret
she has an
cutting the fire
intellectual
department
disability.
budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor?
Doesn't she?
She looks like she's freaked out, and she's so mad. If this guy wasn't there, she'd be pounding on this door for this guy to open up the door. And how dare him not have the door open, that she just can't go right down the stairwell to her SUV, that instead she has to have this reporter greasing her during this entire time, that she should just be able to open the door and get rid of him. So she looks very uncomfortable because he's asking some good questions. He's not being rude.
No.
He's not being escorted off. Because he's not doing anything wrong. Let's not forget this. When a person, a celebrity, or just a regular person, but more importantly, a political head or a celebrity or a news anchor or a radio personality, if you're in a public place, people have the right to ask you questions. People have the right. Today's news media isn't the conventional woman that with a microphone and a cameraman that's got a camera on his shoulder. Most of today's news comes right from the cell phone. I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of our news is organically or in a reality-based shot on a cell phone, remotely. And so you have to, as a public figure or a personality, be prepared to answer, maybe awkward questions while you're in public. And this is the way you handle it. You just keep your mouth shut.
This is you're commending her for how
Yes.
Yoda handled this.
Yes. She didn't engage him. She kept her mouth shut. She wasn't comfortable with the questions. She didn't engage. She shut up.
You don't think it would have been better if she had given some cookie cutter answers about how her hearts and her efforts and all that stuff? She should have just stayed in Africa and done rain dancing. That would have been better.
I think it would have been better if she grabbed the guy's phone, called him a dirty F and C word, and then deleted 3 of his videos.
Like Kelsey's brother did?
No, like Mike Calta did to Erica.
Nothing to say today.
But see, like Mike Calta should be looking at this, and this is the way when somebody's asking you a question in public that you're not comfortable with, this is what you do.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
All right, so we can...
No apology for them?
We can fast forward this.
Karen Bass had a choice in that moment. Instead of fronting up and showing leadership...
I like the little hint of cleavage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you called that little mole next to her mouth, too, which is cute, too.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
But can you just the absolute scotch...
Just a shadow.
Just maybe a half inch of shadow-like cleavage has got me right to the next level.
There you go.
She ran away. Who else would like to know why she approved an $18 million budget cut for the LA Fire Department, why a major reservoir which holds 117 million gallons of water has been sitting empty for almost a year, which meant that smaller tanks were quickly exhausted and fire hydrants were running dry as firefighters risked their lives trying to save homes. And why did Karen Bass have nothing to say as the people of Los Angeles were going through the most horrifying experience that was made worse because of the government's mismanagement? Well, after ignoring reporters and showing no leadership at the start of this crisis, Karen Bass has posted a bizarre video where she appears...
And again, man, Sky News, nailing it, just giving us the news, not any slant one way or the other, right, left, just giving us the straight news.
Slightly upbeat and even smiling as she tells the people of LA that she's seen the devastation.
Angelinos, we're still going through it. And to any of you and all of you that have experienced a loss, the grief, the anger, the just utter shock, I've seen the devastation. It is unbelievable the amount of loss that people have experienced. But we have to get through this crisis, and I know that we will. I was at the Sylmar command post today, and I saw the work of our first responders and how they've been able to defeat the fires in certain areas. We know we still have much more to go, and we know the winds are going to kick up again. But we got to stick together. We got to stand strong. And then we have to rebuild our city. We're the nation's second largest city, one of the greatest cities in the world. And
is that helpful? The people of LA don't need to be told that she's seen the devastation. They're all experiencing the heartbreak and devastation for themselves. They also don't need to be told that LA is the nation's second largest city. They need answers, they need leadership, and they need to know why decisions were made that meant that LA was not prepared to fight these fires.
I love this woman. She's like, hey, tell us why you cut the budget $17 million. Tell us why this reservoir has remained empty for a year. Don't tell us what we don't Brad Moms us or Gary Cox us, Lummy, and tell us what we already know, that our city is suffering through devastation and loss and stuff like it. We know that. We can look outside and see that my house is burned down. I can look outside and see that, I don't know, there's 22,000 square acres. I don't know how many acres there are, but there's a lot, in areas that could never, ever even dreamed of being burned down. But because of some fire hydrants didn't have water, others didn't have adequate pressure, some aquifers hadn't been filled in a year. She cut the fire budget by $17 million. She wasn't even in L.A. when this went down. It's been just absolutely a series of missteps that have caused, they don't believe in undergrowth, controlled burns because there's such a, that produces smoke and other things. They don't believe in using bulldozers and creating, fire lines and getting all that underbrush, controlled. They've not done that because California is this ultra liberal green state, and doing those things are disruptive and not green. Using a bulldozer to scrape the side of a mountain is not green.
It is in the long run. It's just not in the short run.
Right.
So that's the whole hypocrisy of it all. If you want to save the forests, then you have to manage the forest. Just like if you want to save the deer, you've got to manage the herd. And so I just can't understand how black lesbians keep rising to the top of power in society today. I need to be a black lesbian.
You do.
Because that means you can do whatever you want and you still get reelected. It's amazing.
You need to be Danielle instead of Dan.
Yeah, Danielle Johnson.
Danielle, start wearing some makeup.
Same hair.
Give yourself some boobs.
No, I'm gonna be a black lesbian.
Oh, okay.
I don't need boobs or makeup.
Well, there are
I need
calls
like a little scruff on my chin.
Bass to resign and go.
Yeah, he's keeping.
Oh
his wiener.
yeah,
That's
come
his
on.
wiener.
If I'm going to be
you gotta commit, Dan.
He can be butch. You can't butch. He's butch.
You talk about rising to the top. I mean, you got to go all the way.
He's butch.
If I see a bulge, I'm voting the other person.
Come on,
He'll tuck
Obama
it.
didn't.
He'll tuck it. He'll tape and tuck.
Will you tuck, Dan?
Yes.
I'll tuck.
Okay.
Tape and tuck.
He'll tape and tuck.
All right, accepted.
And he'll be a hot little butch.
All right.
Those calls are getting louder. Almost 100,000 people have signed a Change.org petition demanding that she steps down due to the gross mismanagement of the fires. And Karen Bass isn't the only one facing calls to resign. President-elect Donald Trump is calling on the Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, to stand down. Writing on Truth Social, Governor Gavin Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water, but didn't care about the people of California. Now, the ultimate price is being paid. Now, Trump has been criticising Newsom's forest management.
Man, again, that little inch of cleavage has just got my mind wandering.
Years. Back in 2019, he wrote, "I told him from the first day we met that he must clean his forest floors regardless of his bosses, the environmentalists, demand of him."
And again, that's taking a bulldozer and scraping the ground,
cleaning it
around the trees. You leave the trees, but you take all that underbrush and all those saplings and all that dead bark and all the dead stuff.
It's fuel.
And you take it all the way down the hill, and then they collect it and go and take it somewhere else to burn or chip or get rid of.
Right.
And that's how you clean the forest floors.
Yeah,
and
they can just grind it up, put it in dog food. But the bottom line is it does two things, Bubba. It gets rid of the fuel and also allows better access so that the firefighters could move through those areas.
Right.
They must also do burns. Trump warned Newsom to, quote, get his act together and to open the closed water lanes coming down from the north. But Gavin Newsom now claims that he doesn't know what Trump is talking about, and he also tries to claim that all of the reservoirs in California are full. Just look at this spin.
I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt and reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official.
All right, so we've seen all that. It's just amazing to see, a very unbiased Sky News pretty much putting it all on them, and that Trump was right when he told, let's clean up the forest floors. Let's make sure all aquifers are full and not worry about some worthless smelt, bait fish. And potentially this may not, and let's not cut our fire budget by $17 million. Let's make sure when we open up a fire hydrant in the Pacific Palisades, it's got full pressure and ready to go. Hey, you're on the air. By the way, I got to go to words, Lummy. Then we'll come back with the Caitlin Clark stalker gimmick.
Perfect.
And Jay might be here as well. Hello.
Hey, Bubs. Sorry I got you on Bluetooth Willie's FTE out of here.
That's all right.
Fort Myers.
That's all right.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard on a guy on Facebook saying that yesterday that the surrounding states that were firemen that were coming in with their trucks, they were asking. The state of California was asking to come in and pull their trucks in for an emissions test before they come into the state and help them.
That's
you believe that shit?
That's not true.
That's not
true.
No, yeah, no, that's been.
I heard it. I didn't know if it was.
Yeah,
true.
no, there was a guy that reported that on Twitter actually, but what happened was they had to make sure that the fire trucks and everything had all of the things that needed to actually like get through a fire. So that's what they had to check them for. They weren't checking for like emissions or anything like
They're
that.
Just checking it for equipment to fight a fire.
They wanted to make sure that everybody was equipped to go in there. Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't an emissions deal more than it was an equipped fire truck deal, because there's probably some fire trucks that don't have the necessary nozzles or pumping capabilities. Or,
yeah, like that old 1955 fire truck with the wooden ladder on the side.
Yeah, the one that I got in my track.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly that kind.
Bubba the Raceway Park's not sending my 2,000-gallon pumper out there to try to fight a fire.
Look, these bushes are on fire, Bubba. Can you help?
No, but I can water the hell out of the track. But I can't do anything else. When we return, a man is arrested for stalking.
Oh.
Caitlin Clark. It's amazing how the government or prosecuting attorneys or FBI or Indiana officials or whoever determine what's stalking and not stalking. I most recently, and Dan and a couple, and I don't want to get too heavily involved in this, but, we had received some material that I would say would be considered stalking. You know what I'm talking about, Dan. But nobody's gonna go after those people because the victim isn't as sexy as Caitlin Clark. Almost like the justice that I never got because I don't make a good victim. One of the reasons why the people were allowed to steal the Hogan tape and distribute it and do what they did is because the authorities that are supposed to stick up for my rights when I'm a victim, and when they find out that it's Bubba the Love Sponge that has been victimized or stolen from or something like that, we might not want to handle that one. He's kind of a dick. Doesn't make a good victim. The reason why Merch Crick didn't get the proper justice is because of who she's dating. And it's just amazing how they pick and choose. There's legitimately people in the fringe industries of our world that are victimized and stalked, but because they're in a fringe industry or not such a user-friendly industry, they don't get the proper due process. But boy, man, Caitlin Clark gets one little letter and a guy shows up at a hotel near her, and that guy's in jail immediately.
Amazing.
If you liked that segment, then you'll definitely like the new redesigned BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back to the Bubba the Love Sponge show after this.
It's not, or it is?
It's owned by Comcast.
Okay.
Which is owned...
Which is CBS.
NBC.
NBC.
Even crazier.
It says it's a conservative network.
Yeah, but it's not owned by Fox. Guy was saying that it's owned by Fox. It's owned by NBC.
I've used ABC Legal numerous times. They've never let me down. Their fees are
Sure, you won't say anything in chat.
Having used several other process servers with disappointment every time, finding ABC Legal solved all my service problems. ABC Legal, you rock. Learn more at abclegal.com/start.
America's great. My beer's great. It's gonna be great. Don't forget karaoke tonight. Karaoke's great.
Karaoke Mondays. Nick's back.
Man, I wonder how many celebrities are fucking blowing the mayor up, trying to get some special treatment now.
Well, when are they gonna get special?
Well, I don't know. I'm just imagining a lot of them probably have her as a puppet.
I mean, all the actors live in the Palisades. That's where probably 3/4 of them live. They all got their houses burned down.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios. Aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Is Barb Week. Festivities start, well, kind of tomorrow as the tent and portalets with the hand washing station get delivered. Lummy, we're going to use the trailer instead of the wooden stage, which is one larger. And two, I think after the third, I think more secure, or I'm sorry, more sturdy.
Yeah, I got to do a measurement on it, by the way.
Well, I think, yeah. Here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to pull out the trailer.
Okay.
To about where your car usually sits. While they're while they're installing the tent tomorrow, I'm going to pull out the trailer and park it in your spot.
Okay.
Where your truck is.
Gotcha.
Then, if once we get the tent up, we can back the trailer in to see if indeed there's enough if there's enough room for the trailer to be there and not impede where the girls set up the check-in station.
Yes.
Is that what we're kind of worried about?
Yes.
Because I think the tent only goes to about the basketball goal, or maybe a little after.
A little after.
How many feet would you say thereafter? Maybe 4?
5. Yeah, I was gonna say 5. Yeah.
So 5 feet past the basketball goal.
Yeah.
So what we need to do maybe after the show and before Clem and Cush is take maybe a tape measure out there.
Yep. No Mount Plaisir, $10. I was going to last break. Seth locked me out, so I scrambled. But
Seth, what? So Seth talked to you, got you into some nonsense.
No, I locked him out.
Out of the front door.
Yeah, it's okay. I was scrambling. But yeah, no, that was my plan. Real quick, but we can do it after the show if you want.
Or we can even do it next break.
Yeah, I'll just grab the measuring tape.
Caitlin Clark, man arrested for stalking, allegedly sent sexual and threatening messages. A Texas man is in a world of trouble for allegedly stalking Caitlin Clark after officials say he connected with the WNBA superstar with threats and sexually explicit messages on social media and then drove to Indianapolis. 55-year-old Michael Lewis was taken into custody and charged with stalking, a level 5 felony in Indianapolis on Sunday after the cops say they traced his activity to a hotel room in the area. Indianapolis Metropolitan PD say officers first made contact with Lewis last week, and then and he downplayed the nature of the messages, claiming they were more fantasy than reality. He also stated he was only in Indianapolis on vacation. Even after he was requested to stop, officials say the messages continued, leading law enforcement to take swift action. Clark herself raised her concern when speaking to the police, according to court documents obtained by TMZ Sports. She said she even adjusted her public appearance schedule out of fear for her safety. Several of Lewis's alleged messages to Clark were also included in the docs, and they are disturbing. Some of them mention being near Caitlin Clark's residence, with Lewis allegedly stating, been driving around your house 3 times a day, but don't call the law just yet. The public is allowed to drive by Gamebridge, a.k.a. Caitlin's field house. I'm getting tickets. I'm getting tickets. I'm sitting behind the bench, and I'm going to F them up. Watch me. Settle down, Michael. You're stuck in the snow, another one said. I mean, so far are...
Nothing.
So far, I don't think this is...
There's no threat.
I'm outside your house? I drove by your house 3 times?
I mean...
I get that. You get that, Bubba?
I mean...
You just got it today. The guy drove by the track.
Bubba, I was by your track on December 27th.
Yeah, exactly.
Click.
Marion County, but, I can't... Please. I don't ever get any due process. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears addressed this matter in a statement Monday, saying it takes a lot of courage for women to come forward in these cases, which is why many don't. In doing so, the victim is setting an example for all women who deserve to live and work in Indy without the threat of sexual violence. Now, I don't know that maybe we're not privy to all of what he said, right? But from what they printed... None of which, to me, is actionable. Now, it's not cool.
Not for a public figure.
Officials also filed a stay-away order and a motion for a greater than standard bond. A level 5 felony comes with a sentence of up to 6 years and a maximum fine of $10,000. Now, here's the deal, man. If this is the worst of what he said,
no jury's going to convict him.
What's that?
No jury will convict him of that.
I don't. But I mean, why would the prosecuting attorney or state attorney even take it?
Because she's a superhero in that town.
She runs that town. Some of them mention being near her residence, with Lewis allegedly stating, "Been driving around your house 3 times a day, but don't call the law just yet. The public is allowed to drive by Gainbridge, a.k.a. Caitlin's field house." Now, that to me says that he's been driving around where the Pacers and the Fever practice, because that's the game. I think that's the Gainbridge field house is where they play.
But he doesn't even live in Indy. I mean, he traveled there to get closer to stalking her.
True, but I mean, first of all, if he's talking about driving around the facility,
Jamie Flynn, $10.
The Gainbridge Fieldhouse, that's a public venue of 18,000 that can fit 18,000. You can tell a player that you're driving around the arena they play in I don't think that constitutes stalking, right? I mean, if we drove around Amalie Arena and we say we were obsessed with Braden Point, and we said, "Hey, Braden, been driving around Amalie Arena 3 times, but don't call the cops on me yet," people in Tampa would laugh at you.
Well, what is stalking?
I don't know. I'm not a cop. I think stalking.
So but they're saying it's a level 5. He's facing 6 years in prison. I mean, that's to
me, stalking would be sending a postcard with very, very disturbing images to people, and that doesn't make the person you're stalking look in very good light, and posing as that person's father. That's stalking.
Well, that seems specific, but yes, I get that.
Dan, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But it's discretionary, and so it's.
But hold on, if he put in there, Dan, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but if he put down her actual home address,
that's doxing.
Then I
that's different.
Then I get it. But if you're writing in your threat, the address that you're using is the field house that she plays her ball games in. To me, that's a public venue, not a private residence. That's a public venue open to the public where she plays, and you should be able to drive around that 400 times a day. And tell her that, too. I drove around the field house 400 times today. It's a public. Listen, I am not advocating or sticking up for weirdos that want to stalk people. To the absolute contrary. I want these people thrown in jail. They're sick for you to be that obsessed with somebody. But I don't think that mentioning that you drove around. I mean, if somebody was obsessed with Tom Brady and they say, "Dear Tom, don't turn me into the cops just yet, but I drove around Ray J 3 times today." Would they arrest that guy?
They had a car parked in front of his home when he lived here on Davis Island for 2 years. Because people would just sit there and look and go, "Tom Brady's there." The duck boats would go by and say, "Tom Brady's there." That's not illegal.
Right. So a guy, some of them mentioned being near Cece's residence, with Lewis allegedly stating, "Been driving around your house 3 times a day, but don't call the law yet. The public is allowed to drive by Gainbridge, a.k.a. Caitlin's Fields house." That's insinuating that he's driving around the facility that the Pacers and the Indiana Fever practice and play at, the Gainbridge Field house. That's the arena they play. And I don't think that driving around that facility, even while she's in there playing or practicing, and publicly saying that to her, to me, rises to the level of stalking.
Not criminally.
See, I think that I don't have a problem with the police rolling up on him and saying, we're watching you and we know what you're doing, and what you're doing is really bordering on it. I think they arrest maybe. I don't know all of it, but that's, you know what I mean? Do you have any problem with the police being used that way, Bubba? I don't.
I don't have a problem with the police going to the guy and say, listen, you know what? We saw you driving around Gamebridge Fieldhouse 3 times and directed to Caitlin. We saw that. Technically, that's not stalking, but you're on a very slippery slope with us, and we would ask you to stop.
You're on our radar.
Yep.
You're bordering, and you do it one more time, you're going to be in trouble.
I guess then he goes on to say, maybe the first one, Jay, led to a warning. And then maybe this constitutes stalking.
Yeah, maybe they already did warn him, and he ignored the warnings, and that's why they.
I'm getting tickets. I'm sitting behind the bench, and I'm gonna F him up. Watch me. Settle down, Michael. You're stuck in the snow. Another one said. So maybe that is stalking. I'm gonna get tickets. I'm gonna sit behind the bench, and I'm gonna F him up.
That's maybe cyber stalking. I mean, there's got to be something different because I think stalking involves a physical aspect to it. You're literally stalking them, and there's different laws. I guarantee you there's some sort of cyber stalking too.
Yeah, it's just any kind of reaching out could be stalking.
But
He went
to Indy with the intention on being closer to her.
Yeah, it's
sketchy. It sucks. I don't know. And there's probably some information here that we don't have, which lets it rise to the level of this, 5-year felony.
Sure.
I wouldn't want someone doing this to Candle.
Well, no, but I mean, the levels that they use for people that are popular,
public figures,
popular, compared to those that are construed as not so popular or a bad person. I mean, my Lord, look at what Steve went through. Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least we know that this guy's not an ass man or a breast man.
Well. True.
Everyone in the room who's in the breasts, raise your hand. Everyone in the room is in the ass. Raise your hand. There's one guy that never raised his hand. Stalker.
It takes, for the Marion County prosecutor, Ryan Mears, addressed the matter in a statement. It takes a lot of courage for a woman to come forward in these cases. No, it doesn't. This woman is very beloved in Indianapolis. I'm a fan of hers. She shouldn't have to probably put up with this. There's probably information in the complaint as to when they arrested him that we're not privy to. But just from what they've printed, that's a fine line. Even if he did travel from Texas to Indianapolis and stated that he drove around where she plays 3 times and then stated that he's going to buy tickets, sit behind the bench, and F them up, I don't know.
That's as stalking as it gets. Well, here's another message that he sent to her. He said that he also sent her a message that said, I have one foot on a banana peel and the other on a stalking charge.
Okay.
Oh, what that means.
This other message directed at Clark were sexually explicit.
Okay, he probably was warned. And so, there comes a point where you got to do something.
He was. They went. They read in the story that they went to visit him at the hotel, and that he said that it was just a fantasy and that it was just a joking around kind of thing. And then they said that the messages continued, and then that's when
that gets to a point. It's a pattern.
Then he controlled his own destiny.
Right. Mm-hmm. And stalking is a pattern. Stalking is not one conversation. That's not stalking.
Had he stopped Seth upon making contact with the cops have made contact. They're like, okay, listen, bozo, stop it. And if he had stopped, he probably would be okay.
Yep.
But he kept on, and she's a very beloved person, a very wholesome person, a very liked person. She's good for the city. She does nothing wrong other than just bawl her ass off. And, this weirdo is not going to roll into Indianapolis and act this way and scare, arguably one of the most popular people we have in our city. Would have been the same if a weirdo would have came in and screwed with Peyton Manning when he had his tenure as the Colts quarterback. Hello.
Hey, Bob, it's South Tampa. Don't forget, remember, this is back in the early 90s, I think, but a fan was obsessed with Monica Seles' rival, Steffi Graf, and jumped over the side of the court and stabbed her in the back during a match.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Insane. Imagine if that happened today.
Oh, my God.
This guy stabs Angel Reese in the back. Next time they, hard foul her.
Yeah, it'd be incredible.
Well, that's not going to happen with this guy for sure.
No, this guy's facing, I don't know what a level 5 felony is, but it sounds pretty serious.
6 years and $10,000.
I don't want that.
Before we go to words, this was actually kind of, I don't want to say cute, but refreshing.
Yeah, she's happy. She's getting out of there.
It's refreshing. Press secretary, Jean-Pierre takes questions. That she's had an ongoing, almost like Coyote and Roadrunner type relationship with the guy from Fox. Peter Ducey. And, just every press conference, Ducey's there to just grease the hell out of her. She knows. Ducey is her, just always up her and just always just giving her the riot act. They get into arguments. She knows
He
every
challenges
time
her.
she knows every time she walks out there to address the press that she's got Ducey as the last little zinger that's trying to flap her up. And this is one of her last press conferences that she's going to be doing. As obviously Donald Trump gets inaugurated on Monday, and there'll be a new press secretary. And this was the exchange that she had with Ducey yesterday, and it was actually pretty cool. Like, it was pretty cool where you could let the political affiliations down and be human about it. Like, be two adults that were fighting it out for so many years, and now that the fight's over, I appreciate you. It was kind of, I was touched by this.
Thank you, Kareem. If I don't see you again in the briefing, thank you for always. You could have stopped taking the hard questions years ago, and you didn't. So we appreciate that.
Over 2 years, my friend. This is let's say one last dance, right? I don't know how I'm going to fill my dance card now. How will I fill that void without you?
You tell me. You tell me.
Start some rumors in here.
And again, for the last 2 or so years that she's been doing there's not been a lot of laughing in the press secretary room. It's been there's not been a lot of laughter.
No, it's been very solemn,
Right.
and he's not going to get very far with her. And I'm just wondering what big Democratic city she's going to be mayor of next.
I don't know. Maybe Louisville. I don't know. She looks like a Louisville kind of girl.
She's going to be on the radio. I mean, on television, like everyone else does.
Yeah,
when
she'll
they're
go
done
right
being
to
press secretaries.
CNN.
Yeah, she's going
like
to be on
George
CNN or
Strophanopoulos and all that kind of deal.
I'll probably MSNBC with her. The other one is.
Red too. Look at
Jen Psaki.
Yeah.
So, a week from now, it's all over.
Yes.
Between next Monday and 2028,
2028.
who's the leader of the Democratic
Oh
Party?
my goodness! Wow. That is for people much smarter than I to make that assessment, that decision. Obviously, voters will decide. That is not something for me to decide. I could say.
I mean, let's not forget Sarah Huckabee, who did this job, is now the governor of Arkansas.
That's right.
Right?
Right. Yeah, she was, I think, a little bit more intelligent
Well,
than this woman.
Dan, don't think we have to put that part in there. I think it's automatically assumed. Thank you, Dan.
Her dad was also governor of the same state, a little bit.
Right.
Right.
I'm just saying, rather than to make a knock on Jean-Pierre, let's just know that Sarah Huckabee probably was a much better candidate at anything political related than this person. Sarah Huckabee was an absolute spark plug and didn't take crap from a lot of people.
No, and she was super smart and super tough, and she was also intellectually honest. And I just don't know where Sideshow Bob is going to land.
Right now, in this moment, in this room, as I'm looking at the clock as it's counting down, because we have to leave shortly, you have the President Joe Biden, who is obviously the president and the leader of the Democratic Party. I do not have a...
That's where, see, now, Jean-Pierre, just when I want to give you some credit, this is where you lose me in the fact that, yes, Joe Biden is the president, but I don't think he's the leader of the Democratic Party. If he was the leader of the Democratic Party, he wouldn't have elected himself not to run. He would have stayed in the race. I think Barack Obama is the leader of the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. And whomever is the leader of the Democratic Party, it's not Sleepy Joe. No. It's not.
I cannot predict the future, so that is not something that I'm going to do from here.
So there you go. There's the last little little back and forthness from those two.
I think we're going to see something interesting over the next 4 years, and that's the old school, which now is Barack and Hillary and that conglomerate of the Democrats, and the new ones, which are the younger people like AOC, and they're actually going to be old enough to run for the president. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how they get to that transition of a younger Democrat Party.
How about the guy from Pennsylvania that wears sweatshirts and looks like he's already flipping over to the Trump side?
He came over and Trump said, I like him. He's a common sense guy, which is the truth.
Which I'm saying that might be the next leader of the Democratic Party, or people like that.
Well, we've been saying it honestly over the last couple of years. This guy's actually speaking sanely. Fetterman's been speaking truth to power with Palestine, with common sense principles that apply to anything, whether it's the border. He's not as terrible of a senator as I thought he would be. I think there's a chance he's going to be bipartisan. But you're right. He is one of the guys that's a forerunner. I don't know if he's quite capable of reaching that presidential level right now with his debate skills, but he certainly has.
But the next Democratic leader needs to be more like that.
And do you think Shapiro can do it?
Shapiro's one?
Shapiro, I think, is in the short list.
And less woke than AOC and all these weirdos, and more like a Fetterman, more like a Shapiro. That's what the Democratic Party needs.
Yep, they need the younger generation that we're the Republican Party has been able to transition out of people like J.D. Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy, and some of these younger, even DeSantis. There's a lot of the people that are in their 40s and 50s and 30s, actually, that have these common sense principles that used to be Democrats, used to be independents that have come over to this party.
Tulsi
Gabbard, another one. So it'll be very interesting to see, because she
can flip back. She can flip back to D.
She could have been the future of the Democrat Party.
I got to go to words. Hey, Dan, your brother did his homework and watched all three.
Yep.
You didn't even watch 1 minute of nothing.
Yeah, well, I worked for like 14 hours yesterday, so.
No, I didn't.
Jay said I didn't. All right, Dan's out of here. We got to go to words. We got Jesse Dupree at 9:15. He's going to talk about his gig that he's got going on at OCC Saturday night, and how he might try to bring the tour bus after the gig over to the BARP party.
With awesome. Some of his his fire liquor, so whiskey.
Well, he'll bring Jesse James's whiskey. What's it called? Jesse James. I forget what it's called.
The fire. Isn't it fire? Whiskey fire?
I don't know, Lummy. You sound borderline like a slow adult while describing that.
No, sorry.
Back with
fire, whiskey fire,
whiskey fire,
whiskey fire,
Jesse James, fire.
If you want a deep dive into the Bubba the Love Sponge show from the past, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back after these words.
This side is the back. This is where the action comes.
I just died in your arms tonight. Wow. Must have been something.
Is that your knife?
Yes, it is.
I should have walked away.
Wow.
Devil's Den.
So how do you keep it from going off in your pocket?
Devil's Den. The reason it's legal because it stops.
That seems dangerous.
It stops.
So if I put it against us, it wouldn't go?
You hit it.
It's okay to do that?
Yeah. See?
Oh, I see. Okay, so it would just hurt me a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Devil's Den. So.
Devil's Den. I'm gonna pick some up with my Frank Thomas vodka.
Don't display with lights in my house.
Number 3 is strong, Bubba.
I think 2's the best.
I mean, of course, because I'm highlighted. I like that one best too.
Oh, I didn't even know what your
I'm just
real
kidding.
take
I'm just.
on it was.
No, they're honestly. I think that.
3 lost me a little bit.
Let's have some fun. PHUN.
So,
Don't slam the door.
if I was a Bears fan, I don't think I would really be mad if Mike McCarthy got the gig. I would like the offensive coordinator over the Lions more so.
You couldn't put yourself in our fucking paws for 1 fucking second. You don't know what we've been through.
I can't argue with that.
They want to talk to the guy from Notre Dame, too.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, Freeman?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Would he take it?
Fuck, man, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't know.
You're locked in Notre Dame, right?
The kid's 30. He's 39. I don't know what he wants. Like it's a lot.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabeto studios.
Aquabeto.com/Bubba.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Bubba 199 Friday 8 to 10. That'll be live on Rumble. That'll be live on Twitch. That'll be live on Locals. And that's where DJ Macho Man will be spinning. Now, Lummy will have probably a studio full of people. We'll have an outdoor. We'll have the entire parking lot probably full of people. There'll be a monitor and speakers and a way for you to watch from the parking lot. There'll be a bartender. I don't know if we have 1 or 2 bartenders on Friday, but we'll at least have one. I think we have one.
We have one.
One outside.
I measured the trailer.
Oh, you did? What are we looking at here?
Basketball hoop to end of gate.
Basketball hoop to end of gate is how far?
25 feet.
And what's the trailer?
25 feet.
To end of gate, meaning like, are you saying that it just probably wouldn't work?
No, it would work. I mean, because I think we have enough space. Because we're not taking up the whole gate.
No, we're only taking up, and they can actually walk in and make a left and get in that way.
Next break, I'm going to go out and just mark it for you to see.
Okay.
I'm going to leave the marks. So
But
you
what
kinda
I'm
get
saying
it.
is-
with that blue tape.
What I'm saying is, like when they enter the gate, they usually make a right and walk in. They could make a left into the stones and walk around the tent.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But our trailer is going to be close to their tent. In fact, it might even encompass some of their tent, right? We don't need all the trailer.
No.
I'm just saying the trailer is so much more easier and manageable.
I'm counting with the hitch, too. So we could put the hitch under the tent a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Red, I think, is a little bit mad, and he wants to use his stage that he built. But it's just, I mean, I don't know. I think the trailer's easier. I think it's safer, and I think it's more sturdy. And I think it's just something we roll and then roll back. We don't got to have 4 men carry this big stage.
It's Gene Lasker approved.
With the trailer?
Yes.
Oh, okay, there you go. Lasker will be here on Saturday night as well. So the big whodunit is these J6ers that supposedly now are saying they were promised by Trump somehow, way, shape, or form. I don't know if Trump ever actually had interaction with them personally, or it was just their people talking to Trump's people, but he was supposed to pardon all of them. I don't know, in my opinion, even being, maybe somewhat of a conservative-leaning person, that all of them need to be pardoned. I think the people that peacefully protested and maybe didn't breach the Capitol building, didn't go inside, or if they did go inside, and by the way, there's absolutely mountains full of footage with regards to everybody that went inside and what they did. From the crazy guy that had the bullhorns on, that we had on the air.
Who didn't sound so crazy when you talked to him.
That didn't sound so crazy. That also said Capitol Police led him and gave him a tour.
And then he said a prayer for the police.
So there's different levels of people that did different things. And I think that each individual case needs to be looked at individually. There probably are some people in jail right now that deserve to be in jail.
For sure.
That did some stuff that they should not have done, that was disruptive and illegal, and they deserve to be in. So just to uniformly paint with a very broad brush and say that anybody that's in prison right now for a J6, for a J6 situation should be released and pardoned, I'm not going to go that far.
Well, he's never said that.
No.
That's the thing. That's the narrative that they've been pushing now for the last 3 months since he won, is that on day one, he's going to release all of them. No, he's not. He's absolutely not. They went through each case. I believe that they'll have a list by the inauguration day where it's the nonviolent people. He's got people going through each and every prosecution.
Well, that's what the thing is, that J.D. Vance went on Fox and said, if you protested peacefully and went to jail, then you'd be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, you shouldn't be pardoned.
Which is the right answer.
It's a common sense answer again.
I think even Democratic people would say, if you committed a crime, you need to have been. Now, some people have already gone to jail and done their sentences. Now, those can be commuted, those can be pardoned and wiped out, and you've been expunged if you did your time and you didn't do anything wrong, but you're already done. There are also some people that are still in prison. I think the leader of the Proud Boys was given 20 years. But I think even Democratic senators and congressmen and leaders would say, if you did a crime, you deserve to do the time. If you were just in the moment and you really didn't commit a crime and you were just in the moment protesting, peacefully protesting, then we understand where we may have knee-jerked in the heat of the political battle moment, knee-jerked, maybe overcharged you, and we need to make that adjustment. Because I'm sure that there are we know that there were some innocent people, not innocent, but people that didn't really do near enough to be charged. There were some people that went to jail that, probably shouldn't have. And there are some people in jail that deserve to be in jail. That's how I got it figured out.
Name one Jan Sixer that was offered a fair trial in Washington, D.C., or that was not selectively prosecuted.
And now, see, that's another issue, wrinkle to this deal, and that is, I think every J6er was prosecuted in the very heavy Democratic Washington, D.C. District of Columbia court system. So I don't necessarily know how fair of a trial you can get there. As a J6er as a Antifa, as a person that didn't do anything violent, but has been labeled this, radical conservative group. You're a member of these radical conservative groups. I don't know that you can get a fair trial in the District of Columbia. So, maybe you put, Jay, would this call for a retrial for those that are in jail? Would this call for, what would this call for?
It depends on the nature of the conviction. Some people were convicted for trespassing. Other people were convicted on this whole sedition thing, which was never used correctly, and that part of it was actually reversed by the Supreme Court. So it's going to be technical, but it should be very simple. As if you committed violence, then you should be punished. If you did not commit violence, then there's an argument for a pardon or a commutation.
Literally case by case on what you committed and what they charged you with.
Yeah, like the guy that smashed through that window. I don't know who he is or what his affiliation is. That's destroying property.
Right.
That was one of the main breaches of the way into January 6th on that day.
Right.
And so that guy should probably do some time.
Yeah.
One Jan 6er that was offered a fair trial in Washington, D.C., or that was not selectively prosecuted by the corrupt federal prosecutor's office, the George Soros prosecutors that let the Antifa and Black Lives Matter and Hamas rioters go free while they hunted us down and used the DOJ to destroy our lives. So if you're going to start...
And listen, I'll be the first one to admit, and Jay, I know you would too, after having watched some things, is that during this time period, the DOJ, the FBI were all about weaponizing and all about just, doing whatever they could to get to Trump.
And we found out this week from Zuckerberg that the government was using the heavy hand of the law to censor what we were able to hear about people,
Social
including
media
the narrative of this. We didn't see any of those videos, those thousands of hours of videos, until about 2 or 3 years after January 6th. And you remember that showed the cops letting them in and all these things that we had no idea that people
existed.
like Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity were saying they believed existed. And if you look still, when they show January 6th, they still show the same 10 clips.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. There's thousands of hours of video, and they show those same 10 clips. Well, those people should be punished.
Between which Jan 6ers can stay and which ones can go home on day one, January 20th, in 8 days, then we're going to need answers into which one of us had a fair due process of law. Because as of right now, all of us have been railroaded in a two-tiered justice system, a persecution, a witch hunt. And I think the American people know that, and that's why they're calling out for every single Jan 6er to be pardoned on day one.
No, I think you're wrong, sir.
It looks like 168 people still have not been to trial.
I think that you're wrong, that America... There's not a groundswell of support is that every J6er is pardoned and let go. I think you're misinterpreting what real Americans, nonpartisan Americans want. And I think what you're missing is there's not a swell of support where we're saying, hey, if you got arrested or you're up for trial on a J6 violation, that you should be automatically pardoned. Mm-mm. No, I think that America says that each case needs to be looked at as to what violation you're being charged with. And if you're like the guy who broke the window and made the initial breach, you probably need to do some time. You don't need to be pardoned. You need to be doing some time. For the guy that is the head of Proud Boys, isn't the Proud Boy guy, isn't he already in prison?
22 or 20-year sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe go back and look at that case, and I'm sure that he's not guilty, but make sure that everything was done accordingly, everything was done correctly.
Right. But as an attorney, I've seen many cases that I've been watching over the past few years where there were alleged Brady Rule violations, meaning the prosecution, the federal government didn't give any exculpatory evidence, and the exculpatory evidence was in the form of video showing cops letting them in. And so there have been abuses by the Justice Department against the January 6ers. And this was a time when they said the biggest threat to the United States of America is white nationalism. And they were ignoring people like that guy from ISIS who was self-radicalized that just took out all those beautiful people in New Orleans. And so our Justice Department was focusing on Catholics who are protesting abortion, and parents who are protesting COVID lockdowns. And we now know this because, thankfully, with this new administration comes this epiphany of, let's talk about the importance of the First Amendment, Mark Zuckerberg. Do any of us believe that Mark Zuckerberg would say a single word that he said last week if Trump hadn't won?
No.
Right.
No way.
So, if you really think about what it was that changed the tone of this election for us, it was when Elon Musk selflessly purchased Twitter for way more money than it was worth. He knew that he was purchasing a dog, but it was a way to have people express their free thoughts and their free opinions. And at the time he bought it, it was 75% Democrats on there, and now it's almost 50-50 Republicans and Democrats. That ability for people like Danny to speak freely about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, and for us to speak freely about things that we believe to be true and have opinions about, that was what changed it. And so they couldn't take down the Hunter Biden story. And they couldn't take down that Hunter Biden was now facing these crimes in California for $1.4 million of tax evasion and all this other noise that they couldn't suppress. They would have suppressed memes about Kamala. They did that with Hillary Clinton. They did that with Joe Biden. And so freedom of speech prevails. In my mind,
well, I mean, Trump got screwed with so bad socially that he had to go out and start his own.
He was deplatformed. The president of the United States with, was it 70 million followers, was deplatformed.
Yeah.
And that was the scary precedent that allowed this heavy hand of censorship be spread around the world. And now we're going to see the exact opposite, because in England, if you say something that is just offensive to somebody, you can get arrested.
They'll come pick you up.
You get arrested. And there are,
if you were like, man, you know what? The Queen sucks. Or, you know what? The royal family sucks. I hate the royal family. Why in the hell are we?
Well, it's happening with immigration over there right now. There's like 2,000 or 2,500 British citizens who are opinionated about the way that immigration's been handled over there. They've had riots and they've just expressed opinions. And I'm not for or against opinions. I'm just saying they've been arrested for speech. And that would never fly here.
Carrie Underwood, is she going to be the main person?
Wow.
And so
that's
they
a big hit.
So Carrie Underwood at the inauguration. Don't they say Kid Rock's going to be there too?
Yes.
Yep.
Kid Rock, and now it's looking like, from what we saw, Hulk Hogan.
Looks like it.
I'm sure.
I mean, what do you mean, like there? I mean, are we talking like on stage there?
Are they going to perform?
Well, she is. She's going to perform "God Bless America."
Yeah, I don't know if Bob Ritchie's gonna end up doing anything. He remember,
I can see Cowboy.
Remember, he brought the he killed the convention. Remember, I mean, he brought the house down. So I don't know if he's gonna recreate that. But when you say,
don't think Hogan gets on the mic during the inauguration?
No. Yeah, I think he gets up and rips his shirt off.
I hope not.
Drinking an American beer.
I mean, maybe they're in one of these parades, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are going to be there, but I don't know if these people are going to be like,
they may just be in the
special
audience.
Guests of Donald Trump.
It was a huge deal when Trace Atkins did it last time. Do you remember? It was like they were really going crazy on him. It was crazy. You know who's going to perform?
Carrie Underwood.
No, more than that. The Village People.
Yeah, that's right. The Village People.
The Village People.
Really?
Yes.
They're doing YMCA?
They're doing YMCA.
Oh, man. That's a big guess.
Come on.
It's going to be their biggest
man.
This is their biggest payday since '79.
And Lee Greenwood.
Celebrities who support, or even if they don't publicly support Donald Trump, but they agree with some of his policies, they are now feeling more comfortable speaking out and talking about these things. We saw it started with Sylvester Stallone.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep.
Bezos. The whole
and Carrie Underwood is
look how painful
throwing her hat in the ring too.
Yeah, Harvey looks like literally it's painful for him to say this.
Because we broke a story this morning that she is going to be performing at the inauguration. And this is a difference in kind from his last inauguration. And for years, everyone has always said, well, the only celebrities who publicly align with Trump are
Kid Rock
and
Scott Baio.
Scott Baio, right.
How about Hulk Hogan?
Why you got to laugh at him?
That's not the case now. And clearly, I don't know what Carrie Underwood's politics are.
She's kind of kept that separate from her career, unlike a lot of other celebrities.
True.
The fact that you don't know and she's been around for so long.
I also don't think it's
interesting.
fair to assume that this means.
We don't know what it means.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
doesn't
she
mean
could-
anything other than it's
Yeah.
it's a
I'll tell you what it means. It means that she, is somewhat throwing her endorsement to the person that she's singing for. That's what it means.
Or is it just an opportunity to sing at the inauguration?
Yeah.
Which
I think it kind of both.
Which
I
how
think
many
it's kind of both.
inaugurations are there in your lifetime?
Not a lot. That's the truth.
You're right, Seth. I mean, it's good for the brand. It's really good for the brand.
And look, whether she supported him before or after, I mean, most people now, what do they say? It's like, hey, if we're all Americans, then you need to root for America to succeed. You need to root for the president. So
Right.
no matter what she believed before, she's there now. I don't look at it as a sign I endorse Trump. I look at it as a thing for America.
And I also look at it as an opportunity as, how many artists will ever be able to say they did this?
Exactly. I mean,
It's
it was
a very
Fleetwood Mac did it
10.
for Fleetwood Mac did it for
You're right.
Clinton.
You're right.
High
10.
profile gig, so it makes sense for her to take it.
Yeah, and what's
high profile gig makes sense for her to take it. That's what we're going with, and I like it.
interesting, guys, is I actually just got a statement from Carrie Underwood, and in the statement she says that she's happy to answer the call, that she feels like that this is a time that we need to reunite the country. And as you mentioned, she really has not been political.
Hope she sings it like she does the Sunday Night Football, Lummy.
Oh, I bet it's
Or
gonna
at all.
real.
Even when Trump was going through his campaign, she wasn't one of the celebrities who was speaking out for him. But now, of course, that he's president, she's getting in line. And I think it's interesting, too. Remember, it was just days after he won the election that Sylvester Stallone came out and was patting him on the back at an event. And all these A-listers now are starting to cozy up to Trump. And let's be honest, I mean, Carrie Underwood is in a different class than Kid Rock, who performed in 2016. No shade to him.
Right.
But we're just seeing a different caliber of star now.
Agreed.
Coming out for Trump.
Well, this is Sue Smith from South Carolina, and I just want to say that Carrie Underwood has always been apolitical. You never really knew which way she went, but I'm sure she's going to do a fabulous job singing. I love her voice.
Perfect. That's all you need to know.
Snoop Dogg's going to be there.
I mean, it's incredible.
Snoop Dogg's going to sing Gin and Juice.
Yeah, he's going to be there. He may perform, he may not perform.
Will he be smoking a blunt, though?
Yeah, why
I
not?
hope so.
That'd be great.
Him and Billy Ray Cyrus.
I got to go into words. I'll have Jesse Dupree from Jackal next. Hold on.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be back after this.
Village people ever did.
Oh,
not
no,
getting
that's,
pissed. Not getting pissed at Trump for that.
Oh my God, they're about to have a resurgence for real.
They did already because he originally was pissed and said he didn't want him using it, and then he said, "I think he really likes the song, and so we're okay with it."
Yeah,
So I think his manager got to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Lummy, do they need to
He walked out, Bub.
send a link? Think you guys need to send me a link or send Jess? Oh, okay, there you go. There you guys are going.
Morning, everybody. I'll talk chat while Bubba work gets ready for Jesse. What's up, Finn 212? How's everybody doing? Morning, everyone. Thomas Gilson. What's up, Mitch? Paul Rogers, D. Gary Cantrell. Primetime Toys, what's up? Jeff Frierson, good morning. Good morning, Little Wilbur's After Birth. Grouper Lips, what up? Of course I am, Grouper Lips. Good morning, Nick. Yes, sir, Tony. Stacy Aline. Is it Aline? A Lynn? Highway 73, what up? Mr. M, Johnny Z. Fradley, Xerxes, Big Buck, what up, everybody? Let me tell you something. I went to a Carrie Underwood concert, Mark Jones, with my wife once, and she is super talented, and she may have the best legs in Hollywood. And I'd say that right to my wife's face. She knows that, because she would agree with me. Bad Jake, Jeff Schwartz.
Oh, Canada.
What's up, Sicilian Redneck? Carlos Clam. Glenn Longnecker. Sicilian Redneck. How's everybody doing? She's also one of the best live performers. She really has some pipes, man. She can sing her ass off. What's up, Joe Plazewski? Plazewski? Joe Plazewski. No depots today, Great White. That's why I'm in my dress down warm clothes. It's cold here. Cold 60.
You think they're gonna have the fires out by the inauguration?
I mean, they're supposed to have the Olympics there in 4 years, Seth. How are they going to do that?
Might be creating some new space for them to put
new stadiums.
Yeah, I don't know.
A Pacific Palisades Stadium?
I'm trying to think of
God, no.
Now I'm drawing a blank of all the outdoor summer games.
Yeah, I do not think they'll have it put out by the inauguration the way things are going, and it's just tragic.
I also wonder because I know how the Olympics goes, if they'll have events in, say, San Diego or stuff that's, an hour or two away.
Oh, yeah, it'll be all California, I
Yeah.
would say. Most of it.
One minute, 20 seconds, Jesse.
One minute.
Is Jesse in?
Give me a call at the end of the day, Nick.
In his car?
Hello?
Hey, Jesse, will be 50 seconds.
Okay, but to make sure I was hearing you. Okay, good.
I see your little laptop there.
Yeah, I'm at the airport.
Were you traveling out? Probably out.
Yeah, I'm heading to, where am I heading to? I'm heading to Fort Lauderdale for the day.
And then you'll probably stay in Florida and head over to OCC. No sense of going, or will you go back?
Good morning, Jay. Where are you? Good, how are you?
I got to go back. I got to be back in the office at tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'll catch the dark 30 flight tomorrow morning to come back home.
All right, here we go. 10 seconds. Hold on.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios, aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Right on time from a long-term parking lot. No, Jesse probably, he has enough money to go short-term, I'm thinking. Are you short-term or long-term, Jesse?
You all over it. Matter of fact, I'm cutting it close today after the interview, so I'm up here in the hourly parking for a 24-hour trip.
And I'm thinking you fly out of Atlanta's Hartsfield, that airport's horrible, isn't it?
Oh, it's the worst airport. It really is. It's just it takes an hour to go from Terminal A to Terminal Z.
What kind of car do you got, Jesse? What's a big timer like you flossing?
I know my car is actually a truck. It's a Ford F-350 and dually. And I'm actually right now though, because it's a beast to try to park.
Right, you can't park that in the parking garage.
I can't park it there. But so my dad passed away about a year and a half ago, and he had a little Nissan convertible that he loved, and we bought him the Nissan convertible. You'll love this, Bubba. He always rode his Harley my whole life, and I mean the day I bought my Harley Davidson was the day I felt like I became my own man. And I loved my dad, his passion for Harley Davidsons. He got up older and he had a Harley. He had to have triple bypass, and he was taking blood thinners. So we asked him not to ride his Harley anymore. So about 6 months goes by and he calls me up. He goes, "You got to buy me a car." And I said, "Well, what's wrong with the car you got?" "I need a new car. I've never had a new car." And I said, I remember you got that Chrysler Cordoba one time. He goes, that was your mama. He said that was your mama's car. You've got to buy me a new car. So I'm thinking, okay. I said, what are you looking at? He goes, I want a Nissan. And I said, okay, Nissans are dependable, great little cars. Let's go look at them. So I go down there and he's picked out this Nissan Z360, hot rod convertible.
Right.
And I'm going, what the hell do you need that for? Come to find out, he needed it because when he had his motorcycle, he could tell the girls that he'd pick up at the Waffle House. He'd say, hey, let's go riding on my motorcycle. Since we wouldn't let him ride his motorcycle anymore, he was able to say, hey, let's go ride in my convertible.
In my convertible. Your dad was a pimp. He was a straight pimp, was he not?
He kept a little vial, a little bracelet that had a little vial in it that kept 2 Viagras in it all the time.
We already know from last time we had you on your Cialis story or your Ambien story, or one of the things where you tried to take some of that stuff and you had like a boner and couldn't go to sleep, or was up all night eating ice cream or something like that. Remember that story?
Yeah, my son found me planted face first in a gallon of ice cream at the kitchen counter. He thought I'd died. And he went running up to the studio and he told Don, Dad's dead. And Don said, well, did you try to see if he's asleep? Or he goes, I'm not touching him.
I'm not touching Dad. Hell no, I'm not touching Dad. So anyway, listen.
But they came down. I woke up and Nigel had literally picked me up and carried me and put me in the bed. I woke up the next day with my shoes and sweatpants on, and I had the best night's sleep I ever had.
Yep.
And I didn't even think about how I got into the bed.
Yeah. So anyway, Jesse, I think on Saturday night is going to be at OCC, and then on Sunday you do the Mount Dora deal. And so OCC is always a huge gig for you. And we wanted to promote that a little bit for you this coming Saturday night. Of course, Bert's is it Bert's Barracuda? Is that what it is?
No, you're exactly right. Bert's got Bert's Barracuda and Bert's Black Widow. He's one of the leading dealerships in the United States of America. I mean, seriously, that guy is a great Harley Davidson dealership, and it's right there where the OCC Roadhouse is, and they got an outdoor venue that's all covered under the big shed there. And I mean, it's such a really, like you said, it's a first class place to play. And this will be like our 3rd annual.
Oh yeah. You play there again. Again, it's like an annual deal. I've seen you there a couple of times, and the acoustics are great, and you can get like, hell, probably 25. I mean, you could probably get 2,500, 3,000 people in there fully packed out.
I think he's somewhere around 2,000 for sure. That's if, not counting the other area that's off to the side, But yeah, there's a big area, and everybody comes, and ticket sales are doing great. But he's got plenty of room to expand. So just make your plans and be out there Saturday for the Jackal family reunion.
Well, and it's going to be the standard Jackal show too. My whiskey kicks your cocaine's ass, and it's going to be all the hit. I mean, you always sing all the hits. Any new stuff that the Jackal enthusiasts can see, because I mean, you usually are pretty set on your set list. I almost know it down by heart. But have you worked anything new into your set list?
We've actually worked some older stuff. I mean, we've had requests for some people to play just like a devil, and just some of the stuff off that first album.
Right.
We're playing right there. Once we get started into the show, we're playing a really cool chunk, section of just the first album. And people absolutely love it, and it goes over really great.
Jesse headed to Fort Lauderdale. Like, what type of meeting or business or television show are you getting involved in Fort Lauderdale? I mean, I know this is a business meeting for you.
Yeah, we've got the biggest lift we've ever had this year with the I do the Rolling USA series. So right now we have Rolling Daytona going on. So you can go into any participating Harley Davidson dealership and register to win. Check this out. You can register to win a 2025 Harley Davidson Street Glide motorcycle. You could be one of 10 people that win a trip over to Daytona Beach, Florida. You can stay over there for 3 days for a 3-day package for 2 people to stay. You'll be one of 10 people on stage with me. You'll get to pick a key out of a bucket. If your key unlocks the porch and cranks it, you win that motorcycle. We're also, everybody that registers is automatically registered to win a trip to European Bike Week, because I'm going Rolling International now. I got Rolling Austria. So you fly into Milan, Italy, spend the night there, you and a guest, spend the night in Milan. Eagle Rider puts you on motorcycles the next day, a 2-day guided tour through the Alps. You spend the night in the Alps. You drop down into Farkasy, Austria. You spend 2 days at European Bike Week. Take the bike over to Vienna, spend the night there, leave the bikes at the hotel, and fly home.
Now, how can some hillbilly from Kennesaw, Georgia, like you, get yourself wrapped up with some international stuff like that, Jesse? Come on now,
man. We're going bigger and better, man. I mean, I've been so blessed to do some stuff that I love. We've also got. You can also win a pair of wristbands to camp up at the Full Throttle Saloon's Pappy Hoyle Campground. This is the 85th year of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. We're already almost sold out on the property, and it is beyond Thunderdome for people who love badass motorcycles, beautiful women, and a cold belly washer, which happens to be some Jesse James bourbon.
Now, Jesse, outside of the bourbon, is the Sturgis Bar, the full Throttle Saloon? Is that your biggest, money make? Is that one of your best investments ever? It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 600 acres out there, Bubba, and not only do we have the 600 acres, we have the Full Throttle Saloon that sits on 50 acres of the 600, and it's beyond Thunderdome crazy with national acts and go-go dancers and such. We have an Olympic-sized swimming pool on the campground, and all-you-can-eat breakfast and dinner buffet, a landing strip for an airplane to take people up parachuting. We have a firing range. You shoot 50 caliber machine guns. We have 3 racetracks. It's all on the 600 acres, 1,000 RV hookups, 300 cabins. You go to pappyhoylecampground.com, PAPPYHOEL campground.com, and you can make your reservation. We also have a distillery up in Deadwood called the Deadwood Distilling Company. We have the Full Throttle Distillery in Estes Park, Colorado. We have a Full Throttle Distillery and Restaurant in Branson, Missouri that just opened up. Oh, you got time for a quick story? Check this out.
We got time for all the Jesse Dupree stories, please.
So Branson, Missouri, we're opening up a Full Throttle down there. We had to get open by New Year's Eve at 5 p.m. We had to get open by that time to take advantage of $1 million tax credit. And we were running late. We had a little bit of a delay in getting the place ready to go. So we got the city gave us a business permit, but they didn't give it to us until 5 o'clock on New Year's Day, and we had to sell 1 cup of coffee to qualify for $1 million tax break. So we received the business license at 5 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and we sold 1 cup of coffee. And it gave us $1 million tax credit.
Wow. I mean, that was probably the city working with you too, knowing, hey, listen, we want to get these guys this credit because it's going to be good. This franchise it's not going to be one that just, comes and goes. You have a great brand and several different restaurants. So it's refreshing to see a municipality working with a guy instead of busting somebody's balls, because that's usually how it goes.
I want everyone out there to listen to Bubba, because Bubba doesn't just know that stuff. It comes from experience.
Yeah.
And Bubba has had his fair share of button heads with the local municipalities. And they can make your life a living hell. So Bubba, I respect that view that you have on it, because you know it firsthand.
Here's the difference, though, between me and you. You get that break, and I don't, because I'm the bad guy, and they're like, "Screw you, fat ass. We're not giving you that temporary permit, and I don't care how many coffees you sell at 5 o'clock." And you know what? Jesse Dupree's a good guy, and we're going to give him that. We're going to give him that break, because you're the good guy, and I'm the bad guy.
It happens. It is different when we walk in and shake their hand and smile and ask them if they can put their hand on our back, instead of you walking in saying, "I'm Bubba, goddammit, give me my license." bitch. Give me my license, bitch.
Give my license, bitch. So listen, I got an interesting offer for you. We have this annual party at my studios called BARP, B-A-R-P, Bubba Army Royalty Party. And there's about 250 people that come to the studios, and the entire parking lot. We got a little bit of a stage, and it's full of drinking and food and what have you. And it's on Saturday night, so I can't be at the gig, but I'm going to promote obviously the gig for those. Now, see, BARP is an invitation only. You've had to, listen to the show and qualify, and so it's the most elite listeners of all. But I was thinking, if you guys probably get off stage about 11, And if you're not in there, glad heading around and eating and what have you, maybe. And I even sent you the GPS thing. You literally got to go right by the studios on your way to Mount Dora. So I wanted to invite you and the boys to maybe swing by my part. It would be like your after party of the gig. Now I also know that when you guys do a gig, I mean, it is exhausting to do a gig, as much energy as you guys put into it. And you may not want to stop by my party, but I at least wanted to invite you guys to swing the tour bus right into the party and maybe have a couple cocktails with it if you have time.
How can I resist that, man? I know you throw the best. I've been to some of your parties and it's no joke. I have to see if I can find my dad's bracelet with the 2 little Viagra pills in it, but I'll have to make it over there.
Well, you know, the band,
There'll be a pack handed to you when you walk in the door.
The band's going to give you the hardest time because they like to get their chicken and their pizza, and they like to go back in the very back there and do their own thing. But if the bus was just rolling, they don't know. I mean, you know, it's 22 minutes from OCC on the way to Mount Dora. So I just want, and I'll text you the information, but I wanted to at least invite you. I was kicking myself in the ass because I was hoping my party didn't coincide with what your OCC gig is, because, you know, I don't like to miss a Jackal gig when you're local. We've been such great friends for such a great long time, going back to 1997, 1996,
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think 90. It might have been 95. It was 95 or 96.
Yeah, 95 when you were rolling hard. Any new music projects you got, Jesse?
You know, I've been playing. I just put a solo album out recently with my son and Roman. And playing with your son is the coolest thing ever. I mean, not a lot of musicians get to put records out with their sons. Like Eddie Van Halen did it with Wolfgang. They say Cheap Trick's got his son playing drums. The guitar player's got Rick Disson's got his son playing drums with them. And it's so cool to play with my son, Bub. I'm loving it. And well, because you do the racing thing with your son, and that's incredible experience to share a passion together. So that. And but Roman and Nigel have recorded, and I have recorded some new stuff still because I just been enjoying. I got the studio so dialed in. It's
now,
finally what I'm wanting it to be. And
what happens when Nigel comes and says, "Hey, Dad, that royalty check came in last week, bitch. Where's my cut?"
Bubba, you know how it is. What's mine is his, and what's his is his.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
He doesn't. I'll come in and say, "Where's that guitar at?" "Oh, I've got it up in Nashville." Well, you didn't say nothing to me about taking my damn guitar.
Now, what's your favorite musical out of all the musical instruments? Maybe over the years you've got. I'll tell you mine. And Jay, I know you got the same one because we got them the same together. But do you have an instrument that either somebody that you look up to in the business signed, or that you just have? Like, is it the lead guitar that you use on stage? Like, what's your favorite that you own instrument that you would be absolutely beside yourself if somebody messed with?
Well, man, I grew up in a very lower middle class, borderline, just poor home as a kid. And, I wanted to play guitar, and my dad didn't know if I was going to stick with it or not. He didn't have a lot of money. So he bought me this cheap acoustic guitar. And he said, "You learn how to play a Chet Atkins tune for me, and we'll look at buying you an electric guitar." So I worked my butt off for quite a while. It was not something that was just easy for me. I had to really work hard to learn how to play a Chet Atkins song, because he's like one of the greatest guitar players ever. And but there was a Les Paul that hung at Marietta Music, the little town square in Marietta, Georgia, old picturesque kind of a town square. And I used to go look in the showcase window at that guitar, and I'd have tears well up in my eyes as a teenager. I wanted that guitar so bad that you don't even know. And it took a couple of years for me to work and practice. And my dad finally saw that it was such a passion and me working for it. And he broke down and bought me that guitar. And that's the guitar that I wrote "I Stand Alone" on, and "Down on Me," and "When Will It Rain," and all those songs. And it's on all over the first album, but I've now retired. It's in a safe at my house. And I love it. I take it out and look at it because I played it so much that I've worn the finish off on the back of the neck, and where my right arm goes over the top of the body. It's the finish is wore down to the wood, and it's got true miles, and they're all miles that I put on it.
Right now, does each guitar have its own different sound? Like if you, is it like a pair of jeans that you break in, or a Harley that you ride? Does each guitar got its own, from the frets to the pickups? Yeah. They each got their own sound.
Yeah, they got their own sound and they got their own feel. That's how it feels to play it, and how it feels can bring out, the way you approach playing a song or writing a song. And it's a very personal thing. I tell people all the time, motorcycles and guitars, those are two things. Letting someone else touch your motorcycle or letting someone else touch your guitar is the closest you'll ever come to letting somebody else sleep with your wife.
Well, let's not talk about that topic. That's not quite such a good one for me. In that case, everybody would be riding and playing all my instruments, my friend. So out of all the years of me being in radio, I always try to get like an autographed guitar. I got 2 or 3 from you in the band. I got Brian and the boys from AC/DC. I got a really nice one of that. But my number one collection, and I think it's worth quite a bit of money, and my buddy Jay Diaco, my attorney, has one too, because I got a BB King signed Lucille. Yeah, and I think I
dated with a picture. We've got a picture of it, and it's dated 2000.
Yeah, so I got a BB King, and he would only sign, like when bands would come in, like when Aerosmith came in, they would only sign their certain kind. And BB King would only sign a Lucille, so I had to go out and buy one of those. And those at the time were like $2,000 at the time. And
yeah, they're worth more than that now. Yeah, way more now. Yeah, that thing's worth some money.
Yeah, I saw that they were going for like 30 or 35 grand. I
got finished. I'd done the Craig Kilborn show. I don't know if you remember Craig Kilborn.
Yeah, of course.
But I was in New York, and I'd done the Craig Kilborn show. And the night before, and I got up and I went to the airport. It was Newark, New Jersey airport, and it was kind of a beat up, rundown airport, and I'll go into Newark airport, and I go in. The sun's coming up across the runway, blaring through the big glass in the terminal, and I go and I sit down, and I look, and sitting right across from me was BB King. He had played the Tonight Show the night before, and him and his band were sitting there at the terminal. And BB had nodded off. He was a big bear of a fella sitting there sleeping, and I watched BB sleep and just thought, man, I'm just in the presence of greatness. It was a special moment for me that just sit there and just watch him, just peacefully sleeping like that. But what an incredible life that guy lived, and that's great. That guitar is worth a lot of money.
I'll just give you like my top 5 guitars signed: Aerosmith, BB King, Metallica, AC/DC. I got Meatloaf. Slash.
That's a good one.
I'm thinking. Jackal, Creed.
What's the most eccentric instrument you've got signed?
Probably Motley Crue. They wrote a bunch of cuss. They were like, "F you, you fat ass Bubba. We hate you." I mean, like they were my friends, obviously, but it's probably my Motley Crue guitar, because they were just writing cuss words all over it, like "you're a fat ass and we hate you" and all this kind of stuff.
But he's saying, like, do you have like a tambourine or anything signed?
I don't have a
tambourine.
No, I don't have
maracas.
Check this out. I've got an autographed Tiny Tim ukulele.
No way.
I got an autographed Tiny Tim ukulele.
Through the tulips.
Yeah.
I want you to play Tiptoe Through the Tulips on Saturday night. You couldn't even hit. Well, your vocal range, you might be able to hit down. Come on, Tiptoe.
Wonder whatever happened. We'll have to go find out what happened to that dude.
I wonder how much money he made. Let me Google. How much money did he make through just that one corny song? Because I think that he was a one and done. He was a one-hit wonder, I think.
No, the thing bigger than the song was when he damn fell in love with that woman, and they damn publicized it and had that big national broadcast wedding. Remember when he married whatever he called her, Miss something another, Miss Susan or Miss Lily or whatever her name was, but Tiny Tim proposed to that woman, and they had that big nationally celebrated wedding and all that stuff. I mean, it was a big. He milked the hell out of that.
And he's worth supposedly he's worth $30 million, or that song made $30 million, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, listen, Jesse, I hate hanging you up at the airport. Hope to see you on Saturday night. I'll text you the information in case you can get over. And if not, I'll catch you the next time around. Let's just not talk when you have gigs in Clearwater. Let's talk when you got projects that you're dropping and things like that. You know that you're a true friend of mine, and I just cannot I tell you how much I appreciate you, my friend.
Sturgis, Bubba. Sturgis.
I would love to go to Sturgis, but I just feel I would be in Jesse's way if I went to Sturgis. I would feel like I want to.
You'd have to catch me first because I'm covering 600 acres. But you're more, the door's open. I'd love to have you in Sturgis. I mean, if you ever get serious about that, we can sit down and put it together because I'd love to have you. And seriously, it's
I've had people go to Sturgis and say it's so unbelievable that they can't even describe the humanity and you just cannot describe the largeness of the event. It's undescribable.
Bubba, I'm telling you, it's humbling. It's a humbling, and it's like it's the last adult fantasy island in the world. It's really the last adult fantasy island left in the world for you to go, and you got such a disparate range of emotions that you're experiencing, because there's obviously TNA walking around everywhere.
Right.
And then there's people watching, a 90-year-old man wearing red thongs and Viking horns up at the swimming pool. I mean, you see all the kind of
like
stuff.
Fantasy Fest used to be.
Incredible motorcycles, a celebration of freedom in America. And then you get out to Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, Deadwood, Devil's Tower, the Badlands, Needles Highway. All these. I mean, it's just every doober in Washington, D.C., New York, and Los Angeles, every one of those doobers should be made, the executive guys, they should all be made to go stand out there and just stop for a minute and realize what's really important and how great this country is. And that sounds hokey, but by God, you go stand out there and then you tell me you don't go back and preach about it. It's an amazing experience.
I've heard that there's just words. You can't put words into how unbelievable, patriotic. Just it's all about loving the country. It's all about motorcycles. It's all about and I heard there's not a lot of fights. It's just people having fun. Hot chicks. Concerts every night, and obviously you guys own Full Throttle, but there's like 10 other places. Just 10 other saloons. Maybe not as good as Full, but they got. I mean, you can catch any gig, any rock and roll. All major rock and roll bands are out there. There's so much entertainment. Obviously you're out there every year because you're part owner of Full with you and Ballard. But I got to get out there one of these times. If I'm really your friend, Jesse, I got to get my fat ass out there one of these times.
Well, I appreciate the invite to your party, and you got an invite to come to Sturgis. I'd love to have you. And guys, seriously, y'all keep it here on Bubba. 2025 going to be a big one.
I got something that's fixing to drop. You know what, Jay? You know what, Jesse? I'll drop you something on your JJ email. Jay, I'm going to send him what I sent you. Mm-hmm. I got something. My new documentary. Documentary is coming out. It's a 3-part series, and it's done. It's just now, getting finalized and what have not. But I'm going to send it to you for you to watch. I'd love to get your opinion of it.
Please send it. I'd love to see it. I'll definitely give you my feedback.
And I know that sometimes when you're on the bus and you're bored, you can watch it. That'd be great. So I'll get it out to you, my friend.
You'll be about 1 of 10 people that have seen it.
Jesse, I know you got to get going. I love you, my friend. We'll keep in touch, and I'll give you information about Saturday night. Don't be late for your flight, buddy.
Love you too, Bubba Army. Bubba Army.
Yeah, that's right, man. Thank you,
Bubba Army.
Thank you, Jesse.
Bubba Army.
God, I love that guy. Absolutely. He's so good to me. He is such a good friend.
You talk to him for just a few minutes and you see why he's successful in the industry, because he's smart, he's business oriented, and he's driven. Just a story about how he learned how to play the guitar and the sentimental value of that Les Paul. I mean, that's why that guy's a success story. I don't care what industry you're in.
He owns his own whiskey company. He owns his own restaurant franchise, a 600-acre Full Throttle saloon in Sturgis. I don't know it to be true, but I heard that during the Sturgis Bike Fest, Lummy, the 2 or 3 or 4 weeks that happens, I think in August, that the full with their camping and everything all in, they do $20 million.
Yeah, August 1st to the 10th.
That's gross, obviously not net, but wow.
And it's just growing. Sturgis is getting bigger and bigger every year.
Oh, let me do some words. We'll close the show out next. Stand by.
If you love that segment, then check out BubbaArmyHQ.com and do a deep dive on past shows. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be right back.
With Walker, and you'd be like, that's the way to do it, son. Doesn't matter what it is. That guy's awesome.
He is. He gets it done too.
I've heard that same story with a lot of guitarists where their dad's like, you got to learn how to play this piece of shit first, and then maybe I'll get you a real one. And they just sit down until they break the strings off their guitar doing it. That's incredible.
That's what Dan does.
For sure. He just never got good. Pretty awesome, right, Paul Rogers? I'm telling you, that's the kind of thing you give to any kid and say, this is how you succeed. Content House Sturgis, Gary Cantrell, that would be hilarious. What's up, Dr. Dan's Bloomin' Onion? Good morning to you. You know, that guitar's been prominently placed on my wall in my living room for 24 years since then, 25 years. Timothy, what's up? It sounds amazing. Honestly, it's pretty much on my bucket list. I think I'd like to do it, but I don't want to do it like just the general population.
No, Jesse's got these bungalows. Jesse's got these bungalows instead of.
I don't know what it was. Can we call? Can I talk to you after?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know if you had to leave.
No, I'll give you a call afterwards.
All right.
Oh, Mott, you want to get on the air with that and talk about it?
I don't know if we should.
I don't know anything about it yet.
I can give you the skinny out here, Jay, if you want.
Okay.
Give 2 minutes. I just gotta see if I know if I need to keep on.
Jesse's great. 12 Zebra, 70 months. Yeah, when he played at Bubba Palooza in 08, it was fucking amazing.
We doing the normal 10:35?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You go with that, Mike?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What's up, Bulldog Tommy?
That's a good dude, man. He's traveled, and most people would say, I can't do your show. He brings his laptop.
And his little Mazda convertible.
And his little Nissan.
Nissan.
Do you have to talk to Jay after, Bubba?
Just for a second.
Okay.
Why do you got?
I need to talk to you about something. I just wanted to talk to you, ask you a little before I go for a walk.
Okay.
But I can wait till you after you talk to Jay.
Okay.
Have you seen him?
No.
Yeah, you should. I'm gonna think it's because it's.
Yeah, that one. Oh, that's why I haven't seen that.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabedo studios. Aquabedo.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
I'm already texting Jesse the information, the address. He said he, honest to God, is going to try to make it.
That'd be awesome.
How cool would it be if a tour bus pulled up and all 5 dudes got off, all rocked out after having just jammed? Too bad we didn't have a backline set up, but they do a concert for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they did it for you at Bubba in Jacksonville. That was awesome. They drove all the way there.
When I did Bubba Palooza in Jacksonville, they drove with the equipment and a U-Haul and did my gig. Remember we did Bubba Palooza and Jesse did like an hour-long gig for free.
It was awesome.
For free. Love that guy. He's been so good to me over the years. Did you see this, Lemmy, where a woman, she's like in Ohio, and she gets mad at this other bitch who she said like brake checked her or something, and the dude gets out. I don't know if you can do this or not.
This is.
I don't know if I don't know that you can. I don't know that you can. I don't think you can. I don't know. Hold on. Whoa.
Let's go. Get out of the door. You want to run your ass? Get out.
So she's yelling. This one woman's yelling at this other female driver who doesn't do anything. She doesn't roll her window down or nothing, but her boyfriend gets out.
Get out. Get out. I didn't touch you.
Is he wearing his pajamas?
Come and touch
I don't know, like maybe sweatpants, pajamas.
because my man's right there. Come and put your hands on me. I ain't driving crazy. It was on my goddamn ass. I went to another lane. Get out of my face.
Oh! Yeah, like.
Did she say her man's in the car?
Well, she said, get out of my face. And the guy actually
turned away.
Goes to walk away. Like, goes to walk away.
My face.
Okay, I'm done. Now what?
Oh, does he unload on her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and wait till you see.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Equality.
Uh-oh.
Get out of my face.
Ow.
Oh!
What's that?
Oh! Holy hell!
Yeah.
Oh,
my
Kurt
God.
Angle! Holy crap!
What's that move?
yeah.
What's that move in wrestling? He did a move there.
Belly to back.
Yeah, what?
Belly. It's called belly to back.
He belly to back drew after a right hand.
Belly to back suplex?
Belly to back suplex. Yes. Watch.
Wow.
Now right here.
Boink.
So your belly is on her back, and then you make their shoulders take the brunt of the energy, and watch her face snap on this deal.
Look how high her head is.
Ready?
Oh.
Dude, that is perfect!
Right on the road.
I think that's justice.
That's textbook belly to back. Look at feet pointing to the ceiling.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's got the 1, 2, 3 if he stays there.
Triple H might sign this dude.
He's got nothing on this guy.
This guy might be in Orlando at NXT next week because that's a picture perfect belly to back execution I've ever seen.
Now that's a woman, but that's not a small woman. I mean, that's
that's
as big as he is.
And let's not forget.
You
Hold
were
on.
my God. Come and touch me because my man's right.
Look, I don't endorse anything, but this looks like justifiable responsive force.
I'd be the man in the car.
That would be Phoebe out there fighting for you.
I'd be the man in the car.
Hey, go out there and tell him what you think, Phoebe.
That'd be Phoebe doing the belly to back.
Oh, damn, he got her.
Now, when the guy here's everything. Here's everything. The guy walks away.
Yep.
That's Everything. If you were to go frame by frame on this, the guy walks away.
This is that'll teach you file.
I say, he's like, okay. Oh. Yeah, and then he goes, all right, bitch.
She finds out the good news.
Yeah, here's the good news. Bam. Oh. Look at that.
Oh, so did she knocked out, I think, right?
He got arrested, right?
Did he get arrested?
Man.
Yeah, by the way, she's knocked the out.
Is her man going to get out of the car?
Where is
Seth? Where are you?
I'm in the car.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this bitch.
Seatbelted safely.
By the way, I'm leaving this bitch behind. This is my wife.
Yeah.
I can't ever. How am I going to get turned on by that?
She's got to Uber home.
Yeah, it's over, Bubba. Yeah.
At your local Aldi, just when you thought it was safe to go into the cheese section or whatever section this is, Lummy.
Yeah, they got good prices.
Yeah, good prices. Check this out. There's a full-blown, full-grown coyote stuck in the freezer. Check this. Yeah, watch.
Where is this, like Montana?
No, I don't know. Where's that?
Where is this one at?
I mean, I didn't know Aldi's were so nice inside.
Oh yeah. You never been?
No.
And they're taking over all the old, a lot of the old Winn-Dixies. So you're going to see a lot more of them.
Look at this.
He just grabbed by his tail?
Yes, watch this.
What?
Watch out, guys. Watch out.
What the? Look at this.
What?
That's a full-blown, full-grown coyote.
What?
Yes.
It's in Chicago.
What's a coyote doing in Chicago?
And Lummy, did he jump back in the freezer?
Looks like he was going for it.
Hold on.
Looks like he got away.
He jumps back in the salad section. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to that. I don't know where the breach came, but I'm sorry, I'm not going there.
I don't even. I mean, that guy was pretty casual about getting a coyote. I mean,
yeah,
this is pretty much a stud.
Oh man.
Now, let me. This is my last story of the day.
Oh, this bitch, yeah.
Hell on Wheels killer who plowed car into wall, murdering two, whined about handcuffs during arrest. So, police body camera footage captured convicted Hell on Wheels killer Mackenzie Shrila just after the cops arrested her for murdering her boyfriend and his friend by slamming her car into the wall. But the tearful team seemed more concerned about breaking her jewelry than the heinous act that she had committed. In the July 2022 clip, a cop walks up to the SUV and lets out the 17-year-old girl who sits cuffed in the backseat of the fatal crash in a Cleveland suburb. So let me how did she do it?
She pretty much went 100 miles an hour into the wall. Into a wall.
And killed them.
Yes.
And
but I guess, she
wow, look at the car.
Oh, my God. It said Shrila drove the Toyota Camry into the wall at over 100, killing both passengers. So she was maybe saved by the airbag, or
that's sick bitch.
And seatbelt.
She drove into the wall to kill the people.
Yeah, I guess they got into an argument.
Oh my God!
And so here she is in the back of the squad. Not really saying much.
No. She doesn't look like she's got any injuries.
No, I don't think so at all, Jay.
I mean, not even a face plant from the airbag.
Yeah, a lot of times the airbag will, give you a little bit of a bruising.
Oh, yeah, when it works, it gives you abrasions on your arms.
Sure.
You can have injuries to your face, your thumbs.
Is she on drugs?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I guess this is pretty non-eventful. It's not really saying.
I think she complains at some point just that you're like ruining my jewelry and the cuffs are too tight.
That's what she says?
Yeah.
Sick bitch. Well, I think we're done. I got Clem Kush.
Good luck.
And then Operation Pigmentation. And then I got to do a quick little meeting with Seth after I walk Jay to his car. And then Seth's going to go do a little walk, and I'm going to sit in my massage chair a little bit.
Nice.
And that's my Tuesday.
Nice.
Oh, I gotta go and get the measurements from you too.
I put cones out there.
Oh, it's looking good, Bubba. It's looking real good out there.
As far as being able to fit wise,
just as far as what Lummy did with the cones, I think it really sets the parking lot off.
Lummy, thank you for popping on the cones, kid.
Yeah, no problem.
We're back with Clem and Kush about 10:40. See you later.
Thanks for letting me finish. You've been listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show, starring
me, Bubba the Love Sponge,
co-host and show historian Lummit.
It's Seth, co-host and president of podcasting.
It's Brian Matroni, king of counter programming.
Rhett, the filthy ginger video editor.
Yeah, back here wiring up. It's Mini Macho.
The BRN agent, Thomas Buttoned Up B.
Co-host Dr. Dan Diaco, Esquire of Council.
Co-host J. Diaco, Esquire, the Spitting Cobra of Council.
Now, time for the legal disclaimer.
Exactly.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this show without express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited. We must dissuade him of this delusion. Until next time, always remember. I repeat hello, I'm back.